Nice bounce underway here so far this morning to kick things off on a Friday as we head towards more inflation data coming up at 8:30. We'll get PCE, we'll get GDP as well, both on a quarterly basis and a yearly basis. So stand by for that. Could be a market moving event. We'll bring that to you live as it does happen. But yeah, we not only are green at this point, but green and then some. Which is kind of nice to end off what has been another volatile week, another mostly negative week for stocks, for equity indexes specifically. Lots of individual names to discuss once again this morning. Energy back in focus here as oil continues its march back above $100. All of them back in positive territory to start things off here, including XOM, CVX, Devon, I saw this morning moving around here. DVN downside a little bit compared to the rest, but couple of days back-to-back straight to the upside overall. Number of headlines regarding NVIDIA this morning, nicely positive in the pre-market here. Disregard that candle. That's just D-prints happening right now. We will get to a number of headlines, though, on NVIDIA coming up. IBIT crypto with a nice start to the day as well. A little bit positive for crypto. It's been a bit of a sell-off as far as the week has been concerned, but not a bad start here. Different kind of day so far.
Weaseling into that $72,000, $73,000 area should be interesting. Look, Brendo, lots to talk about today, guys. Good morning. Let me just load up my things here. As Brendo mentioned, a couple of NVIDIA headlines. One, obviously, is ByteDance getting their hands on NVIDIA's latest chips. That's an interesting look there. And then they're looking as well to really focus on ASICs, custom silicon at the next GTC conference. We'll be covering that for you next week. Oil on the run and Adobe. Oh no. I don't know if you've had the chance to look at the daily chart. I don't mean to chuckle. On Adobe, it does not look good, coming from the mid 600s now in the mid 200s, as Software-mageddon has not spared that company. Ulta Beauty also reporting Lennar. The home builders just cannot catch a break. It's been a bit of a downtrend there. And Sentinel-1S also reporting this morning.
Yeah, I mean, the macro environment, still not favoring the house or housing market right now. Yeah, 248 here for Adobe, which I think is actually that low. If this is a weekly chart, so if you go back 3 weeks, is basically that low, 244, 245. We're trying to bounce right now. But yeah, as you said, I mean, before that, you got to go back to 2022 here for Adobe. So even the Adobes of the world getting caught up in this sell-off. But there's so many other options now.
That's the thing, though, right? We've made that argument, and they're putting them out for free or very little, nothing like what Adobe charges. But when you speak to Fabian, you speak to Ramin, I mean, they swear up and down by Adobe still. They're still, it's the
creatures of habit.
Well,
don't worry about that.
They're not even that old, Brendo. I mean, if anybody can adjust, it's got to be them, right? I don't know. The industry still likes it. It's the street here that's kind of forward-looking. That's like, this is not going to go on for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of not only AI, but there's lots of AI-based alternatives now that are so much faster. I was actually having this conversation with them, those two, yesterday. There's this product called Opus Clip that we use sometimes for short form content.
Interesting.
And it essentially, you just feed it a longer piece of video and it goes in and pulls out all the most exciting clips. But I mean, it takes seconds versus, an actual human doing that, which is 30 minutes, 45 minutes kind of thing to actually, produce the same thing. But the difference is the creative aspect.
There you go.
The human touch is still not there yet with AI. For now, exactly.
I remember I mentioned this to them back in 23, 24, and Fabian got a little offended. He's like, hey, this is our job, right? Don't think that AI is going to replace us. But yeah, I think it's coming.
We're not there yet, I don't think, but I mean, it's something to watch out for. But yeah, I mean, Adobe has been nothing but downside since 2024. Here we are back below 250 this morning, guys. Happy Friday.
Yo, what's going on? Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, Obi. How was your sleep?
It was good. It was not bad. I actually knocked out. Funny enough, I was,
a few hours over there?
I was up for Blue Ocean around 8, and then I'm just like, I'm watching, I'm like, nothing's really going on.
Around 8?
No, like 8 p.m. Like I was awake, and then I'm like, okay, well, nothing really too crazy is going on, and then I just kind of laid down on my bed around 9 o'clock and just knocked out. It's like,
oh man, I wish I was
couple hours
guys.
too early.
I was you, my friend. Yeah, no, that's great, man. Get some nice sleeping going on there. I think it feels like a risk-on day, but I don't know. I feel nervous even saying that. The fact that the market looks like it wants to go higher today. It's been really trending. I mean, even this Nasdaq, look at it just hold this 50-period moving average right now, upside well away from VWAP, but still under 25,000. So, you know, still can get my head around it being a down day as well. So it's going to be an interesting one. And we looked at oil today as well, starting to go. We're going to have to switch over to the contract soon. Right now, the J contract, $93. So, you know, well off sort of where we were yesterday, and we touched out at 97 and couldn't really break through there. So it's nice to see that's maybe moved down. So that's part of the risk on strategy today, is the fact that oil is, you know, continually going lower there, silver going lower as well. And yeah, it's just, you know, so I have two names on here right now. We're going to look at crypto. We're going to look at NVIDIA. I love that story with ByteDance there, and just, you know, more AI, you know, more AI build-outs happening with NVIDIA chips. We know, I mean, just what Brendan said there. I mean, there's so much happening in the space right now that I want the stock to just like, I don't know why it's not higher, NVIDIA. So that's part of a problem for me in thinking about this. I mean, with all these developments over the last year, this has done nothing. So it's a little strange, but it's been a great day trading stock, that's for sure. And yeah, like we said yesterday, man, I mean, just figuring out how to code in, this is not really anything to do with NVIDIA, this is lower brow stuff, but you know, just figuring out how to figure out how to code stuff into TradingView, how to code it into eSignal, how to code it into our trading platform as well. Like all of a sudden, this whole dream of, oh, like I wish I had an algo in the market or something. Like now you can, and I think Sharif said something pretty important, like, you know, and that is that when you're trying to build stuff, he was saying it this morning, it can take a couple attempts. Like you just got to work with the AI and get that feeling again, right? And like tell it what you want to do, put it into your platform, see if it works. No, there's an error. Okay, go back, you know, tell it what the error is, get it all figured out and move forward with it. And then as more and more businesses, like Brendan was saying, short form content, this and that, starting to clip things. We saw a name like Adobe, you know, talk about getting clipped, all the way down here to 250 again, down 8%. I read through the numbers, up, crash, you know, and it's just like, they don't believe that the PEs for some of these software names are where they need to be, even despite a beat, a raise, everything. Like, they did have their CEO stepping down, which is going to be, you know, an issue. But I think that's a positive thing, to be honest with you. New blood, new looks. I was talking with my son yesterday. He came back. That's the thing. I dropped him off at the train station at 11 at night. So, you know, think about it. That's why I was like, I'm jealous of your 9 p.m. Excuse me there. But he was saying that he believes Adobe has more lawyers than engineers. You know, like meaning sort of that they've maybe lost a little bit of the creativity and now they're just playing defense. You know what I mean? Like now they have to worry about all of these canvas and, you know, what exactly this means from Sora and, you know, the ChatGPT. It's not even a plugin anymore that helps you with your visuals, you know, and Nano Banana and everything like that. So it's like Adobe needs to just kind of get it all figured out a little bit. Hegseth is speaking right now. He said over 15,000 targets in total so far have been struck. 15,000. You need a lot of intelligence, you know, on the ground to figure that out. 15,000 targets. Like that's he's speaking right now, so we can look at USO and see if that's going on. He said the new supreme leader is winded. There's lots of stuff going on. It's actually, I don't even know, it just popped up on my screen there, the video of him going. So if oil starts moving around here, we'll see what's going on. But he's just, I think he's just reading the tea leaves right now, saying, you know, we're still going to keep advancing with our plan, which I guess he's going to lay down the plan. And then we'll figure it out from there. But right now, USO. You said last night you were watching it around that 119. Yeah,
it got up to 119 by the end of the night there. But yeah, no, I didn't really see too much until later on at night. I am watching Adobe, one of the top names I am watching today, and of course USO. I like the idea, and I definitely agree that it's kind of we're going to see the fall of some of the titans, and Adobe is definitely one of them here. And the price action, as Sharif pointed out, on the higher time frame, it really does reflect the phasing out of some of these software platforms here, and it doesn't help that you know, software in general is just been fading, coming into these, I guess, multi-year lows here in the pre-market, 244.28. We are catching a bit of a bounce here on Adobe in the pre-market session, but nothing too crazy here. Not any sort of crazy volume. I only have 430,000 shares done. But I do like that we're trading below this consolidation, kind of struggling with that 250 area as well as of right now. And I have that anchored VWAP as well, which is sitting at 252.89s. But yeah, no, I do think that there are much more efficient and effective softwares and AI. And then to speak more on what you were talking about earlier, is just that it's become so easy just to even create a software. Like yesterday, like after we're seeing all of these headlines come out, and some of them are just like getting pulled, some of them are really fugazi. So I was just like, all right, cool. Make me something that scans my X feed, and it pops up another window where it's just like I can click on the news and it'll fact check it for me.
You created that?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm just like, I just had to, we talk about ideas, right?
Fact check it for you. So it's
yeah,
like,
so it'll scan a bunch of stuff, right? And it'll be like, so I can put in keywords. So I'll scan for keywords. So if I'm like, keyword is Iran, anybody says anything about USO or oil or anything, it'll populate like a secondary window, and I click on it. And then if I want that headline to be fact-checked, it gets fact-checked. So maybe, at the end, it gives me some more confidence.
You know what I was thinking, though? It's almost like, so that's great. Like, everyone's kind of doing stuff like that. It's just going to be a race, basically, to the bottom, right? Like, everybody's going to be looking to program things like this, and then they're going to get, it's already expensive. We heard the story from Brendan the other day about running out of credits, like, real quick. If everybody's programming things like this, then it's going to be about the speed, and then it's going to be about how much it eventually winds up costing everybody to do it. And then I almost think that it takes away the advantage of being right in front of the news. Because, like, if anybody can sort of code these things in, then it's great. It's great for individual traders, and I think that's where we, as day traders, maybe have an advantage in this whole system. Because before it used to be, you needed a Bloomberg terminal, you needed, all of this, and now it's kind of like, well, these other individuals that maybe have Bloomberg terminals are pushing it right to Twitter, and then you're getting it almost instantaneously. You're not having to do anything manually. So I think that's a great opportunity for us as well here as day traders to adapt to the environment. And those that don't adapt are going to get run over.
Of course, yeah, no, that's a key. It's a key, I guess, ability that traders definitely have to have. I'm definitely trying to push that as much as possible. The factor of adaptability, right? Oil K saying Gulf franchise. Try trading Oil K versus USO. Oil K. Okay, we can take a look at this ProShare K1.
There's not enough. I'm looking at the level too.
Crude oil ETF on the CBOE. Okay.
No. That's what it looks like.
No. I don't know. Maybe. Well, I'll have to see. I have to watch it. But it seems like it doesn't really do much volume.
Someone in the chat just said it right there. Yeah. It's just about the liquidity that's there.
It's not.
It's to each their own. But like when Obi and I are sitting here trading, you have to make sure that there's enough exit liquidity and entrance liquidity for those moves, right? Because like if oil all of a sudden drops 10% and you have to pay a spread on Oil K of 30 cents or something because everyone's running the bid, USO is going to have a little bit more liquidity there to be able to exit in and out of your position without as much slippage.
You can, look at some of the moves that USO has had, right? We were talking about posting for any price and pretty much getting it for whatever.
It's amazing. That day when it tanked.
It's difficult to kind of, you can I don't know. My account isn't really that big. I can definitely max out on this thing and still not necessarily be able to move it around too much, I would say. But maybe I know you definitely be able to push it around a little bit.
No.
You got to remember that algos are all over this.
I don't think you can push stocks around anymore because there's too much hidden liquidity. Like you have no idea. USO's already done 2 million shares today. Like, what am I going to do? Post up 10,000 shares right here? Do you think the market's going to care about that?
It'll probably it might give it a little pop, but it'll correct it right away.
Yeah, it might work for 3 seconds.
Exactly, it'll work for like a little bit. You'll push it around, but that's what I mean. Algos are on this. They're taking the ARBs or whatever relative to crude oil futures. I don't know.
But great, those are the kind of super chats.
But
I'm not even sure if that. I'm not even sure if that was a super chat or not, but the idea was, and thank you so much for bringing that out, those are the ideas that we want. We want to know new names, like there's Gush ETF, which is another one. We talked about that yesterday a little bit on the show. I think this is 2 times there. So you can, let me just type it into eSignal and see what it says.
Liquid.
Bull, yeah, so Bull 2X. So this is a 2X bull. So, if you really got going on oil, you could look at Gush. This could get it going more than USO or the individual underlying futures contract as well. So Gush, something to look out for too there. So yeah, and there's so many other ones off the top of my head. You guys can put them in the chat if there's something else that you really like to look at. It kind of reminds me of like a micro strategy, right? Like I wrote down IBIT on here, but I also remember about 2 weeks ago on MSTR when this thing was at 116 or 117 there, we were talking about buying this on, it was this candle downside, and then that very next day we had an upside move there, and it was in the pre-market, and I remember saying like, okay, if you really think that it's gonna pop, this is gonna give you a little bit more risk to put on with an MSTR. Now I don't think, we actually talked about this the other night as well, right? And that is like, what is their business model? Just buying more crypto with other people's money, and that's been a good move when it's going up. When it's going down, the fear mongers come out and we wonder what price this guy's getting liquidated at. But look at the 50-period moving average. The reason why I bring this up now is A, someone put it in the chat, and B, this is a 50-period move, right? We broke through the 50-period. This is October. All right, and then since then, we've just been following it all the way down. We tried to break there. We tried to break here and reversed back in. And right now, today, with it being potentially a risk-on environment, this is why I like Bitcoin. I really think we could take this out, and then we start to go, right? Now, I don't know if we get back to any kind of special levels here on BTC, but it looks like over the weekend, if it's a risk on Friday, potentially Bitcoin, we could see almost $80,000 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So I think you can get a 10% move in Bitcoin at the drop of a dime. So we'll see if that can happen. Wow, it's 8:17. Man, we are just cruising over here, Obi.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see anybody, Ruben, Dominic, in the chat talking about SoFi. Man, what the hell's wrong with SoFi? SoFi has just been like, I can't take a vacation anymore. So SoFi is like, just like, see ya later, man. I mean, these financials, Joe, man, what are we gonna do? I know you like JP Morgan, I like JP Morgan. We all love JP Morgan, but these financials can't get out of their own way. And a lot of that problem, of course, is related with what they're worried about private equity. There is a little worry. I don't know, I'm not too worried about AI with some of these banks, but there is a worry of robo and advisors and investors, and they take so much money on these ETFs and take so much money from, like, I met with a wealth manager middle last year, and it was just like, they want that 1%, they want that 1.5%, and it's just like that's annually, right? So when you're looking at dealing with someone in that space, either from Charles Schwab or anyone like that, it's like all of a sudden now you can, like you just mentioned, Obi, you can program in your portfolio and give it rules and give it assignments, and it'll help you manage your portfolio to a point where I still think there's a need for, advisors and IAs and everything like that. But it's just a matter of, who cares what I think? The world is reacting to this as well. So, all right, well, it was 8:17, now it's 8:19. And now we got to go over. Yeah, he's ready, baby.
All right.
He's ready to rock and roll. It's Joe. Let's go.
I know. It's never too early, man. All right. Let's get right into things here, guys. Right now, we're going to look at some expiration cycles here. And we tend to do this quite often, actually, in the fact that we like to use our delta metric as a percentage gauge in which the contract is going to expire in the money or out of the money. So right now, we're looking at a particular expiration cycle. That's going to be May 15th, 2026. Now, Joseph, why did you bring up this specific expiration cycle? Well, there's something that I constantly talk about when you are purchasing options, and that is the purchase of time. And you're going to get an extended period, you're going to get an increase in premium, but what you're giving yourself is a little bit more time for your thesis to work. Now, I pulled up behind this page here a specific contract. Now, why am I getting detailed between a May 15th and a specific contract? Because full disclosure, and you guys were aware of this who are familiar and have been watching for some time, is that myself actually purchased back in, I believe it was early October, this specific contract of IBIT expiring May 15th at the $65 strike price. Now, we can see that those contracts are now worth $14 roughly. Well, did I purchase them for that? Absolutely not. Full disclosure, we bought those contracts for $9. For $9 back in mid or late October, okay? What are they worth now? Absolutely pretty much nothing, okay? Now, did we take a hit? Did we have the ability to mitigate? That's a different story, yes. Why? By writing other calls. But I'm going to get to something. So we have 63 days. We heard Sean talking about a potential, maybe about a 10% move roughly here in Bitcoin would put us around 79 and close to 80. But aside from that, what are we trying to achieve? And this is what I talk about often as well, too. Now, this delta metric is telling us that there's a 97% chance that this contract is going to expire out of the money by May 15th. Makes a little bit of sense, $65. That's a substantial move from where we're currently trading. But does that mean that we can't profit off of this trade? Not necessarily, and that's when it comes to, that's when it's really important when we understand our objective. Now, we talk about the intrinsic and extrinsic value of things. Now, considering I've lost over 97%, even 98% of the value of that contract, can we re-engage and then hope to gain some sort of value from these contracts that have diminished essentially over the span of 4 months? Absolutely. So what we can do here, there's multiple strategies that we can employ. So essentially, here's the first one. You can be an options writer and say, hey, I don't believe that we are going to go north of this specific strike price by this time. Are you going to make a bunch of money? Absolutely not. $13 to be exact, and that's if you have the full amount of capital to write it naked. So no protection whatsoever, no purchasing a call at a higher strike price, and you would want to load up the boat. You're not collecting very much now, are you? But what we just went over not too long ago was the explanation of that there's a 97% chance that this contract is going to expire out of the money. Then you have a 90% chance essentially of collecting $13 or $14, because at the bid, that's what we're sitting at right now, of options rating premium. But then there's another way that we can look at this as well. Do we believe that it's going to expire in the money? No, we just explained that the delta metrics is going to say no otherwise. But what can we do and look to gain extrinsic value? So in approximately 63 days, and I like the way Bitcoin's chart is currently looking right now, if you get any form of a pop, this contract's value will increase. Yes, the delta is very, very little, so the rate of change isn't going to be substantial, but if you get an acceleration, say, over the weekend, that's when you can start to see those triple and double digit returns. Is it guaranteed? Absolutely not. But there's a couple ways that you can look at this, is that purchasing a valued contract that is extremely out of the money and not expecting it to trade in the money, but just gaining somewhat of time value here in IBIT. All right, so that's just a quick explanation on what I personally went through purchasing these contracts a long time, a couple months ago, and then how we can kind of capitalize on maybe gaining a little bit of extrinsic value, just time value, not necessarily in the money or anything along those lines. Or you can be an options writer and use your delta metric as well too to write those options. Moving forward, there's another name that I wanted us to take a look at, and that's USO. We've been talking about this name quite often as of late. Now, what we have here is a contract that's going to expire next Friday. But yesterday, we seen that the at-the-money IV was roughly around 173%, and even a high of around 176. Well, we've already seen a 20% decline in the options volatility. So now if we were to go to this 120 strike, in which we've been talking about for quite some time, we can see from an intraday standpoint, yeah, we are selling in the pre-market, but from an intraday standpoint, that contract has already lost $100, and the options market hasn't priced in how much we've declined yet, but just in the decrease of volatility. So that's a short one there on USO. We went over a good example on IBIT. Understand your objective when you are purchasing a contract. What is your objective? Are you trying to gain time value, or are you trying to gain intrinsic value? We'll be back momentarily with some upgrades and downgrades.
Right, there it is, man. I talked about the IBIT. I mean, I like looking at things that are moving, and I think it's just a matter of trying to figure out if you are risk on or what you want to do. Because today being Friday, and by the way, it's, oh, here we go, wrong one. It's Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
You believe in any of that stuff?
I'm not superstitious.
Right,
I'm just
good.
a little
I don't think I believe in that kind of stuff. I think one time I ran it through Claude or one of the AIs and asked it, and I think we're actually up on the majority of Friday 13th, like in the history of the stock market. It's not like the doomsday activity that maybe many people think it is. But all right, so at 8:30, we're going to go back to the desk. We should have Michael Noss coming through at one point here today. And we do have some big numbers, man. The PCE, the core PCE is coming out, as well as GDP coming out at 8:30. So quarter over quarter GDP, second estimate expected 1.4%. That's coming out very, very soon, as are the PCE numbers. So we saw PCI come out and PMI, come out and did
hold off more. I mean, we were already kind of selling off, but
you know how much the Dow was down yesterday? Did you wind up?
I don't know. Last I heard, it was at 50,000.
Yeah, 750,000 right now. So that is unbelievable. So, and it's like something like 6 or 7 of the last, I think it was 7 of the last 9 days or something have been red days in the Dow. So it's been getting to the downside, and sometimes things are a little oversold. So I stepped in a little bit yesterday, put out some longs in for the SPY. And
nice. No, we got that VIX push to 35 earlier this week, and levels we haven't seen in quite a while, sometime last year, from the April lows. I just want to kind of talk about something here, because I think it was JL822 in the chat talking about HIMX and he asked TSM NVIDIA supply chain with HIMX. There was a Hunter Brook report that had come out, and I was just like, okay, you know what? And he said it was a 30-page long report. So I'm like, okay, we can't really do that right now. But this is the beautiful thing. A lot of you guys are skeptical about AI doing fact checking or whatever, but it's giving me resources for each of the statements that it's making. So I was just like, I literally copied and pasted that comment from JL822 into my Claude, and it was just like, I was like, is this legit? So here's the thing. I'm not going to go through everything because it did give me a decent summary, but what you need to know is that these guys came out with a report on HIMX. You can see what happened on the chart. It went up about 38% and did a decent amount of volume after already running up. Here's the point here. Hunter Brook, they're already long the stock. That's a conflict. That's a very clear conflict, and this isn't new news, right? This chain thesis was floated about a year ago. Right? Zero confirmation from the actual companies that were involved, right? And the underlying business is weak. The stock has already moved over 60% in the past few days. So here's the bottom line. I'm just going to read it off. The underlying thesis is that HIMX's nano-imprint lithography is technically suited for CPO supply chains, has genuine merit, and isn't made up. That's where they get you, because if you feel like it's, oh, this is legit news, and people will think, oh, the stock must go up. So you see that buying that comes in. But Hunter Brook is a hedge fund that usually publishes research to move stocks that they're already long in. That's a conflict of interest. The thesis is over a year old. None of the alleged customers have confirmed anything. The core business is deteriorating, and the stock has already had a massive run on retail momentum. It's a real story being told at a very convenient time by a party with a financial interest, right? Treat it as an interesting lead, not necessarily as a buy signal, is what Claude told me. So you got to be aware of some of these things. And, long reports that sound perfectly sound and, they're absolutely great, but you got to watch out for some of this stuff and understand the actual underlying game that's being played. What's up, Brenda?
Okay, I was going to show this. I mean, come over to the Instagram here. We got Obi and I over here. And then check out this picture right here, just got posted. This is 2019. My son is like my size. Like he is huge right now. So this is back from 2019 when we took over. My son took over the studio. Okay, 10 seconds until the number. Let's go over to the number. I didn't realize it was number time.
It's getting a few things coming through right now. Durable goods first out of the gate here. 0.5% to the upside versus a negative 0.4% print expected there. Core PCE for January month over month comes out 0.4% versus 0.4 expected. So there's a couple different GDP prints we're going to get here. This is the Q2 second estimate, so 0.7%. That's a wide miss. We were expecting 1.4% on that second estimate. Again, GDP print. GDP for the second estimate on the Q4 side of things, 3.8% versus 3.7%, so a little bit better on that. Print 0.1% to the upside. PCE price index year over year, 2.8 versus 2.8, exactly in line with expectation. Core, 3.1% versus 3%. So a little bit of an uptick on core specifically. Durable goods coming out there exactly flat as well for January versus a 0.3% print expected. GDP sales quarter over quarter, again, the second estimate there, 0.4% versus 1.2. We also got real consumer spending, 2% versus 2.4. So slight uptick on the core. GDP second estimate, the quarterly number, slight uptick, 0.1%, 3.8 versus 3.7 as well, guys.
Okay, so I can't believe I interrupted my picture for that. But yeah, right now we are not doing anything in the market here. So I don't, these numbers don't seem to mean a whole heck of a lot right now. The GDP of the 0.7 versus 1.4 is something, but like the S&P 500 kind of said, that's a nice story. But I don't know. I don't like when things come out as expected. I'm not really smart enough to figure out which way to take it other than technically. So right now the market is still holding that 50-period moving average. It just looked like we just ran the top on the release of those numbers and now pulling back in. So I think it's healthy. Would like to see a pullback, sort of into these lows again, see if we can hold this and then get back up to the upside. But as we said, nothing really market reaction-wise there. It's the 0.7 versus the 1.4 estimate on the GDP. That might be something there. But at the end of the day, the reason why we look at these numbers is because we all relate them back to what the odds are for an interest rate cut. And we saw that there, right now, it might only be, Obi, the next interest rate cut might be October.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing.
So it's like when you're hearing those kind of things, and then we do get Kevin Warsh coming through, it looks like, as of May. I think it's June would be his first opportunity to sit. And, we're going to wait to see if that does do anything. And I'm just hearing in my ear right now, interest rate futures holding in my ear, and not much going on. We could see, I'll just put it over to you in a second. We always like to see what the dollar's doing potentially on these kind of moves as well, and not much either. So this is just a 1-minute chart on the DXY. So we've been out. I guess we made a little bit of move to the top side, then a little bit of move back upside right now. So yeah, there's not a whole bunch of reaction there, but if people that trade on those numbers might be disappointed there, nothing going on. I think there's just so much of a bigger story right now, right? And that is what we're dealing with across the way there. PCE index 2.8 versus 2.8 year over year, month over month 0.3 versus 0.2. So a little higher on the USA PCE price month over month. So, I don't know if that's what that goes, but here we go. Now it looks like September, I just heard in my ear, for Fed rate cuts. So it looks like we did get a little bit of a change in that. So we can check out those percentages in a couple minutes. Anyways, what do you think about that? I don't think.
I'm not really seeing anything too crazy. Again, sometimes I'm only usually kind of interested if if any sort of economic numbers actually cause some sort of a reaction in the market. That's usually my kind of go-to. Because again, this understanding some of that stuff. Sure, I can read into it, go into the nuances of what all those things mean. But at the end of the day, I'd just like to keep it simple and be like, okay, are we having a reaction? Is there actual participants that are definitely way well informed, a lot more than I am, and a lot smarter than I am? Are they actually putting their bets into the market on some of these changing numbers, or even if it's just, as expected. That's more of my concern there, because that's more in line with what I like to do. But yeah, I'm not really seeing anything too crazy. No real reaction there. We did get a little bit of a pop and drop, but we've already been bidding up coming into the open here. About an hour almost left for the open. But yeah, that's really my look on that.
We do have a super chat if you want to throw that in there right now, Andre. And it's just Nutrient is about NTR, so we want to say thank you to Golf. Oh, there's Golf Franchise again with it in here. Look, I mean, with the Strait of Hormuz tightening, it's also a problem for global fertilizer supply. So this is Nutrient. You can also look at different potash names as well. You put in there LYB there, but ammonia and different things that are put into fertilizer also coming, sulfur coming from the Strait and things like that as well. Higher margins, higher revenues, as the price of food and the price of the growing and anything, like we were saying, fertilizer companies like Nutrient here tend to go to the upside, because what winds up happening, man? The cost of all this just gets passed to us. So at the end of the day, these guys can continue to raise their prices because their costs are going higher. It doesn't mean that their margins are shrinking at all. So sometimes people sort of flock to some of these companies. There was a couple other food companies that were going well as well. What's the
Kava?
Kava? No, not Kava is that's a restaurant. No, it was big when Scott's Miracle Grow. That's what it was, SMG. So I was going to say it was big during the weed names there, starting to go back up to the upside as people were starting to plant things. I don't know. This was an opposite name.
Look at that.
So yeah, this is going to the downside. So you sort of got to try to pick and choose what you're looking at right there. But yeah, just looks like higher margin, higher revenues, fertilizer prices going higher is what I saw. Not sure why it's not affecting Scott's Miracle Grow, but yeah, NTR, I think you got a good one on that there with Nutrient. It just seems to want to go higher. And we've broken out, and if you sort of zoom out into a longer time frame here, really held that 200 period great. So that was a good little level there to get involved with, and back in November, and then just shooting to the moon right here. So not a very highly traded name on the show. I don't think, it doesn't look like the level 2 is going to be very liquid right there today. So yeah, 85 it already has a dollar spread. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up to our attention. And fertilizer names, I was actually surprised there when I called up that SMG chart. So that's why you got to pick and choose your names and do a little bit of research in there as well. But yeah, higher crop demand for food processing, and Nutrient going back up to the upside. So makes a little bit of sense there. All right, we'll go back up to the desk and see what these guys are up to.
All right, just keeping an eye on the market as well after that. Really no significant follow through if you're just joining. A number of macro data points just coming through. We can do a quick recap here. Core PCE for January, 0.4%, a little bit of an uptick versus the 0.3 that was expected. This was the other one. GDP second estimate for Q2 comes in a little bit higher than expected there, 3.8% versus 3.7%. Everything else basically in line with expectations. Fed next week. I mean, it's going to be obviously a nothing burger, but as far as the actual directional talk, I think we get, if you rewind the tape to the last Fed meeting, we had the conversation afterwards, the simple fact that it seemed like Powell had taken the filters off a little bit.
Yep.
And didn't really care, or it seemed like he didn't really care as much anymore going into his, second to last year. I think it might even be worse.
He didn't probably care about President Trump's tweet either, or truth yesterday, where he called on the chairman again, calling him too late again to cut rates ahead. He wanted it yesterday. He wanted it the day before, Brendo. He didn't want to wait till the meeting next week. Of course, I'm assuming he is concerned a little bit with the economy now and the disruptions in the war. And as we saw there, the forecast for GDP coming in about half of what we were expecting. So a bit of a tougher look. Also, we saw the jobs number, which came in about 90,000 jobs light. So you never really want to be myopic in your vision or narrow viewed. But in this case here, there's a couple of prints that are pointing in the right direction if you're looking for rate cuts. But when you look at the Fed rate tool, I think Adair was looking at it yesterday during the midday. It was like, look, first rate cut was September. Yeah. So I don't think we're really going to get anything.
And maybe one at this point before the end of the year. So we'll see. I mean, it's swung obviously throughout the year so far, but we're pointing back towards maybe one by the end of the year. I'm not even sure if that's going to be, a catalyst for the market at this point. With everything else going on, it may or may not be. Andre, give me a thumbs up there. Okay. Okay, we'll stand by. Todd, if you have the show on, just look in the chat there. Andre's trying to get your audio and video set up. We're going to have Todd Shapiro joining us here in a couple of minutes. We'll talk about the psychedelic space on a Friday. It's the morning, but, people have plans, I guess.
No, it's a burgeoning area, Brendo. So I'm invested, full disclosure, in what used to be called MindMed. Now it's changed its name, I think DFTX or DTFX or whatever it is now, and it is booming. The breakout is on. It's about to break through $20. Obviously not near the areas that you and I were joking about during the COVID highs. A lot of them are not, but you gotta assume with the Secretary of Health, and his views on this specific topic that there's a nice tailwind at least going in for the next few years.
It's and one of the things I want to get Todd's opinion on is the pharma use case versus the retail use case on, his company has, and we'll talk about a new deal to discuss on the retail side of things for the seed side and the planting of actual edible mushrooms and mushrooms you can use in your dinner tonight. They did a deal last year. Red Light Holland did a deal last year with Costco on the retail side of things, still in Costco's, obviously. So it's always been a challenge to get these products to a point where they get pharma approval.
Exactly.
And that seems to be the biggest hurdle for this, but we'll get his take, yeah.
But that's the pharma side, and that's I think where we really should be looking. Anecdotally, this country has been very lackadaisical in the enforcement of these psychedelic stores that are popping up everywhere, which are obviously for recreational use, not medicinal use. But it gives you a bit of insight into how the regulator is viewing this area. It's more favorable. Otherwise, it would have acted a lot quicker to close down their stores. And they're operating in this gray area, Brendo. But again, it kind of shows you the intentions of the regulator going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's an interesting space going into not only beyond the midterms, but going into the next administration in the U.S., it might be something that ends up being a little bit more front of mind. But on that, as I mentioned, it's been a while, my friend. Todd Shapiro is the CEO of Red Light Holland. Great to be back on the show with you, my friend. It's been a long time, I'm sure, since you've been on a show at this time of the day. Just for a little bit of background for everybody watching, Todd used to be a morning show host on radio here in Canada, hosted the biggest radio show ever. Am I wrong in saying that in this country?
Yeah, listen, we had a very good run for 18 to 34-year-olds specifically. We had the highest numbers ever in Canada. So it was a really good run. I mean, that's a whole other chapter. I've flipped that page. Thanks for bringing it up, Brendo. But yeah, I'm trying to, be taken a little more seriously despite the hat, which does cover my bald spot from the stress of the capital markets. But no, here I am, and we have some really exciting stuff today. And you guys actually have an incredible segue getting into it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no,
for
of course.
having me back on.
I think it's an interesting time, and that's what I was kind of alluding to, in the sense that there's been a lot of consolidation and there's been a lot of shift in the space as a whole. Maybe talk just from a very, very high level. First off, I mean, as we were saying, the pharma research medical use here is typically, long, very highly regulated versus what Red Light Holland has continued to push towards, which is more the retail case and the edible side.
Yeah, and listen, there's been a big pivot for Red Light too, and and that announcement's come up very, very recently. So, the hype and the hoopla in the psychedelic sector almost came a little bit too early. And about 5-6 years ago, when many companies went public, they all sort of played off a cycle and again, that hype mode. And listen, at the end of the day, Red Light Holland went into revenue right away as a publicly traded company where we started selling magic truffles in the Netherlands, where we were legally allowed to do so. Whereas many others went this more drug discovery route and sort of the idea to how do they become sort of big pharma and get patented drugs onto the market over time. And for us, which was really significant, is we luckily got caught up in the early days of it where we could raise a lot of capital. So here we are 5-6 years later. The consolidation you speak of is most of the companies have run out of money. A couple of the big boys have really skyrocketed, like Compass and Atai. MindMed still hovers around their side, and even though they've all done their consolidations and rollbacks and candidly have very big burns. Red Light played a smart game. We were in revenue. We tightened the burn almost every quarter, maybe a few slips here and there, but we always maintained that we would use our capital think of it as a horse race. Have a horse maybe near the back of the race, watch others die off by, running out of energy, or the tortoise and the hare. And as the tortoise, we would eventually catch up. And this is exactly what's happened. We've had patient shareholders. It's been a very tough couple of years on the stock market, quite candidly, for TRIP or TRUF on the OTC. But with that being said, last reported over 9 million in revenue, 18 million in assets. And here we are now with the ability to make some moves. And just 2 days ago, we announced a very significant move that leads us back into our main model from day one, Brendo, was from underground to mainstream. And underground, meaning the underground truffle that grows above it, but mainstream being standardized products. And we are so grateful, so blessed to have announced a definitive agreement, a tough 3 months back and forth with an incredible company named Filament Health. Now, Filament Health is really one of the top companies in the space. They were even actually just the other day, I'm looking at an article from Scottsdale, Arizona, the National today. They compare them, and this isn't me comparing them, this is them comparing them as competitors to Compass Pathways. Compass Pathways has a $752 million market cap. We have an $8 million market cap. So what this does, and I'm sure you're going to get into questions, I apologize, I'm always long-winded. This allows Red Light to expand our drug development platform with Filament's GMP manufacturing. They have a Level 8 Health Canada's dealer's license. They have Health Canada and FDA authorized clinical trials, in clinical programs, and they have 72 issued patents covering natural psilocybin manufacturing and formulation. The biggest thing they have, and what they do mostly for supply right now, is Filament's pharmaceutical R&D capabilities and patented PEX-10 botanical psilocybin drug candidate. So they are now in many studies like Johns Hopkins, University College London. They're getting the product out there. They've also passed the phase 1. They have FDA authorized phase 2 approvals. So back to sort of putting it all together, guys, we were the rec play that has become focused on where we now think the market is going to go, more into this medical approach. And I'm here to talk all about it. Sorry for that, but I was just I'm very jacked to tell this story. Probably.
And we can feel that, and we appreciate it as well. Let's touch just wide scope here on the regulatory side of things. Give us an update or a lay of the land, maybe Canada versus the U.S. Where are we on this side of the border versus the U.S. regulatory situation?
Yeah, so first off, in Canada, the main ways that people access psilocybin are through the Compassionate Use Program or the Exemption 56s. And the Compassionate Use Program is a tough program for patients, say, who are terminally ill or have some severe trauma. It's tough for them to apply for, but Health Canada has given a certain amount of patients each year that opportunity. By the way, Filament Health supplies to a lot of those compassionate use programs and individuals, which is fantastic. The United States, on the other hand, they're really making a big splash right now. So currently what's going on is the DEA is basically arguing, and they're making a petition for the reclassification of psilocybin based on breakthrough therapy designations. And really, this is for depressive disorder. And this is really significant because they're trying to reclassify it into a Schedule 2, which will mean that it immediately will be both good for synthetics and for natural products. And so, as I said, the psilocybin that we work with out of Filament, and this deal is expected to close, obviously, it's still in the, it's a definitive agreement. It's still not fully closed. I have to be very clear about that. But this, again, is a botanical psilocybin drug candidate, which would allow for that. And they're already supplying into the U.S. all over the place. So we're seeing some really interesting opportunities. You guys have heard of the Overton window, right?
Of course.
And this is where we kind of feel like where it's at now. We're 5-6 years later of being public, well capitalized, now working with an incredible company in Filament. But at some point, at any given moment, it's just as if the public goes, okay, it was never legal, now it is, and now it's accepted. And that's what the Overton window is. And I feel like we're getting far and far away from the old stigmas and closer to real conversations and access.
Let's update the retail side of things. You and I had a conversation going back, I think, a year ago or so on this show regarding the Costco arrangement that the company had made. Any updates as far as that goes?
Yeah, so Red Light's done a big pivot. Listen, the mushroom space has been a difficult one. Inflation, consumer spending habits are down. They're getting the bare necessities or unfortunately shitty foods. It's really sad to say. So we had production out of a farm in New Brunswick that was doing regular mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms. We've actually since ceased operations from there. We'll be looking to divest in the assets. The big strategy for Red Light right now is taking a lot of the assets that we have, getting rid of the non-core assets, things that don't mean a lot to our business or weren't making money, and then use that capital to be able to go back to R&D, and hopefully the commercialization of microdosing still is a big part of it, because we do believe emerging markets like New Zealand are opening up. We're seeing lots of conversation in Czech Republic. So there's like a lot of great opportunity that lies ahead in the actual product itself. In terms of the mushrooms, yes, we do those home grow kits. They were in Costco's. We were recently in Safeways in the US, but we are definitely going to refocus that strategy, start to really think about what is the core, clear, compelling path here. And now working with Filament, we believe that is going to be a major focus of ours. And again, we're just so excited.
Todd Shapiro, great to speak to you once again, as always. Guys, TRIP on the CSE here in Toronto. Truff, south of the border. TRUFF or F? One F?
Yeah, two Fs.
Two Fs.
And thank you for having me. I feel like I look lopsided for some reason, but I mean, maybe my mind is. We're just really excited where the company's positioned right now. And Filament's done such incredible work, so I want to give them all the credit in the world. We can't wait to be working much more closely with them. And thank you again. I'm going to jump back on, and we'll do some old radio jokes if you want to, but most importantly, let's talk capital markets. Every day is exciting, and you guys do it the best in the world. You honestly do. You make it fun, educational, and informational, and that's the key.
I appreciate that. Come visit when you're back in the city. We made some changes around here, as you can see in the background.
I hear it looks spectacular. Yeah. Can't wait.
Come visit. Good to see you, Todd.
Okay, cheers.
Great stuff. That's the type of energy we need this morning. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst activities this morning. We're going to kick things off with an earnings report, and that's going to be Adobe down 7.7% here, guys. Price target lowered from $340 to $290 by UBS, also with a neutral weight. Also, Beauty also reporting as well, too, guys. Piper Sandler down 7.4% here, roughly. $775 was that initial target, being lowered to $725 once again by Piper Sandler. You're down over 7% here this morning. Now, SentinelOne as well reporting last night, guys. $21 was the initial target, being lowered to $18 by Needham. Ticker S, you're down 2.8%. Now, NerdWallet, not something that we typically talk about every day, but 6% to the downside, guys, 6 3/4 roughly. Morgan Stanley giving them the downgrade, also going from an equal weight to an underweight with a price target decrease from $14 to $9. Moving forward, let's take a look at some more of the positive things. Service Titan getting the upgrade. $135 was initially that target, or $130 was initially that target, being increased to $135 by TD Cowen. Still negative here, almost 5% this morning. Now, NEO also getting the nod, guys, by HSBC, up 3% this morning. So if you're looking for some relative strength, there is some in NIO. Price target $6.80. That was initially $4.80. So a nice increase right there. Vivid Seats also getting the nod, guys, going from a hold to a buy with a $15 price target. And then we have the Crazy Chicken. I thought this one was El Pollo Loco there. We put that one up there. Up 8% this morning, guys, with a price target increase to $14 by benchmark.
All right, some solid names there on the upgrades and downgrades. I think the one I'm watching, of course, we already kind of mentioned Adobe, but I really do like Ulta Beauty here, where it's kind of coming in higher time frame trend breakdown as well. Earnings report just slamming right back into a little bit of a trend all the way from last April. Now that's interesting to me because, again, if you guys remember, that's when that presidential bid came in, and anything that's been trending from there, I do want to kind of keep eyes on that trend, and you can see we're slamming right into that, just a simple trend line there coming in and kind of holding now that support as potential resistance here on Ulta Beauty. So I'm definitely going to be watching this one pretty closely today as one of the earnings names there. And I think Adobe, we did already talk about it. That with a downgrade, yeah, I think more confluence for potential continuation. It's already been sold off pretty aggressively over the past few months on Adobe.
Yeah, I like the Service Titan call there. I mean, down on earnings, but the earnings were actually pretty good, guiding 255 to 257 versus 252 next year million. And you know, that's a decent, I mean, I'm just looking at the report here. 27 cents beats 18 cents. This is last night. Sales beating 253 versus 245 million. And, you know, this name gets upgraded today. Service Titan's been on a good little run. This is, you know, connects contractors with businesses and, you know, technicians with businesses and sort of puts it all together there in a nice little bow. And, you know, you did get down into the 65 or so area. Now you're getting an upgrade. That's just on earnings, so we're not going to worry about that little flush. But, you know, down 5% on a good report and catching upgrades. I mean, I like Service Titan here. A relatively new name into the market, got beat up and gave you that low around 60 bucks and then started to bounce. I think after that report, the fact that we got hit down there gives you a decent opportunity to buy this stock now, especially with the upgrades coming in. So, yeah, I like Service Titan, TTAN, and I think you can do worse right now in the market. And it's a name that's going to be helped out with. That's going to be a name that's helped out with AI. You can get more efficient, better. I like Service Titan down there, so a good little look there. All right, Obi, you want to do some charting here? All right, what does this say here? Close. Did you say you did close it out, Hindu, there? Close coin position, have 350 shares at 193 average. So I had just sort of said my, look, I mean, like Obi and I, we always, all of us always say this kind of stuff, and it's like, you got to trade your own sort of thoughts and methods there. But if you want, you're asking for my thought on this. You break above the 50 period moving average right now on Coinbase. I don't know, I apologize, I don't know why this chart's not actually loading up a little bit better than that. Hold on, let me just get it on e-signal here, because I want to show you where the 200 period moving average is, okay? So you're all the way up. So you do have a huge opportunity here, in my opinion, to get back, right? And I said earlier today on the stream here around 8:15 when we went live, and the sticky note's just about to go out, I'm just gonna push enter there, that I thought there was a good opportunity for crypto to get going a little bit, especially if I think that there's gonna be a little risk on action. We did get news that Iran is potentially gonna let boats from France and Italy pass through the straits, which is why we got that most recent bump right here in the market. Obviously, it's fading back in, so we got to watch out for these stories and how truthful they are. But Coinbase right here on the daily looks like it could potentially run. But if you have 350 shares and you're now in the money 10 bucks, that's 3,500 bucks. You know, and I think that that's probably a decent amount. What I was going to say to you is, Hindu, is that if you're in the money now and you're asking those questions, sometimes, I mean, first of all, congratulations on buying it at the close. I would just gonna say, like, hey, look, bad news in this market will send crypto down. So you have to make sure that you're playing with a little bit of house money. So for me, again, it's the same story all the time. And maybe it's because I'm too conservative in nature, and that is that take a little off. That's always something to think about, especially when you're getting a bump early on 5%. You're up 5% right here from yesterday's close. I like the idea of saying, put my hands up in the air, wave them like you just don't care, and get a little bit out of Coinbase. But if you don't want to do that immediately, what about a break of 202.50 or 202.25? I potentially should have possibly added this to the watch list. You are getting a big time consolidation right here, right now. And we've seen Coinbase pop $5, $6, $7 right off the open. All right, so I'd hate for you to give back some of that money, but there's also a great opportunity for it to absolutely rip. You do have VWAP right now at 199, so I think you can also try to hold out for 200, and then we will get to, stay tuned for 925. All right, I'll show you what the market on open imbalances are. If it's a bid for Coinbase, you can't expect it to bump up a couple bucks. So up to you. I don't know what you think about crypto at this space. I'm sure we're going to potentially talk about it on our rundown, but congratulations at the end of the day. You're sitting on a $3,000 winner right now. Been worse trades, Obi.
Yeah, no, I think what's interesting to me here, and I was looking at MSTR before, it's on the watch list as well. A lot of these crypto names have relative volume this morning in the pre-market. You can see here two to three times relative volume here on Coinbase, kind of pushing up in towards some of these prior resistances, not only from this week, but from prior week as well. MSTR was the one I was looking at here, and you can see also similar kind of story here, 2 times relative volume as it kind of steps up and holds that 141, 142-ish area here in the pre-market. And again, pulling up into some of this week's highs. Hasn't really got into prior week's highs as close as Coinbase. But yeah, no, definitely higher time frame look is what I'm kind of more concerned about here. This has been a pretty strong downtrend. You can see here, on the way up, I did have my trend lines, and you can see when those kind of, the ones that I thought were a little significant, they broke down and even de-anchored from some of those highs. You can see MSTR, nice little flush there. But if this downtrend breaks, Sean, I think, yeah, we definitely have a little bit of room to the upside. I'm watching this BTC USD here as well with a little bit of a bid coming in. We saw that a similar kind of bid last week as well that got us all the way up to like 74s and some change, I think. Yeah, 74 or 100, and then we're pulling back up into those levels here on BTC again, once again. So is this the break of the trend? I have no idea, but that's why I have eyes on it. It's interesting to me that a lot of these crypto stocks are doing relative volume in the pre-market, so there's more participation than normal.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, like up 4 or 5% there with Bitcoin's a good little look there. This segment is sponsored by NextGel, ticker NXGL on the Nasdaq. NextGel develops advanced hydrogel technology used across medical, healthcare, and consumer applications. Their high water content gels are designed for comfort, performance, and next generation healthcare products. To learn more about NextGel and their technology, please visit nextgel.com to find out more. Again, another name doing things there, NextGel. Go find them out. Scan the QR code. Go find them out. Listed on the Nasdaq, NXGL. So that's going to be a good look there for them. And here goes Coinbase right now, Hindu. I mean, there's a little bit of a break here. We'll see if it wants to get going here in the pre, and it's 9:02 right now. So thanks for joining. We've been on the air for an hour already, and we're looking to go through the rundown, a half hour until the market opens. This is your spot. We're going to go over all the top stories, and there goes Coinbase right now trying to get to 203. So it looks like we might have made a decent call on this one. Let's go back to the desk, and I'm sure we'll be talking about crypto at some point.
666 is where we closed out yesterday, guys, on the SPY. Happy Friday the 13th as well. All the good stuff over here. We're above it right now. We're almost at 670, 669. 80 is what we're showing right now. We're up 0.5%, but that downtrend is still intact. We're still putting in lower highs and lower lows, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Look, the overnight low here, the closing print on the 4-hour takes us to 665, so that's what we'll use as our first level of support. If we catch a bid, Brendo, we're looking at that 672.5 like we were yesterday as that first level of resistance. It was support for almost a week and a half before we gave it up.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, link is below in the description for the watch list. Grab that. Second link down below will get you to the sign up page. And then you just need your email address to get the watch list for absolutely nothing, free every single day. Adobe, top of the list here this morning after their earnings after the close last night. We did actually start with a positive move. We get all the way up to 280, and then it just was absolutely cracked. 250 comes and goes. We're well below that. 246 inbound really quick here. I mean, like we were saying, if you joined us off the bat here this morning, make sure you're joining us every day at 8 o'clock. We were talking about it a little bit this morning. So many options for these products at this point. It's going to be tough for them to maintain. It's a subscription-based model.
And the irony here is, I don't think should be lost on anybody. The CEO is leaving to bring in a new AI CEO, yet the company is being punished and punished aggressively because of AI.
Yeah.
So the irony is quite stark. CEO Shantanu Narayan, who led the company for nearly 2 decades, he plans to step down after a successor is found to lead the company's AI phase, they're calling it. He was credited with transforming Adobe into the dominant subscription software platform that we know it to be. He will remain involved during the transition, and then he's going to serve as a board chair while the company searches for a replacement. Here's how they did on earnings. They did quite well. Q1 profit, almost $2 billion, $1.89 billion compared to the $1.81 they took home last year, with adjusted EPS coming in at $6.06. That beats the $5.87 expected by the street, while revenue rose a healthy 12% year over year, coming in at $6.4 billion. That was ahead of what analysts were expecting, Brendo. Now, let's talk a little AI here. So their AI, this is their first AI annual recurring revenue data point that more than tripled year over year to $26.06 billion. That matched analyst expectations. But management continues integrating AI across its product suite, and they're embedding it into AI models with its own Firefly. They're also embedding with other AI models as well. So we'll have to see how that goes. Last but not least, investor concerns, as we see in the price action here, around AI-powered tools disrupting their business model. The guide was decent as well, roughly in line for adjusted EPS and revenue beating expectations.
On the subscription model, I was watching an interesting podcast last night with the guy that created, it was actually an app, Cal AI. I think it's just an iOS app. It's like one of those calorie counters. You can take a picture of food and it tells you like the macros and everything. So he just sold to MyFitnessPal.
Okay.
There was no number disclosed, but everyone's saying it's like $100 million. Kid's like 19 years old. Great for him.
Amazing.
ChatGPT does the exact same thing without having to pay an extra subscription fee, to another app.
What's the point of that?
On your phone. Like I was testing it yesterday. You can send a picture to ChatGPT. It'll give you exactly the same thing.
Absolutely.
With one subscription.
Have you tried Google Vision or whatever it is? It's the same thing. You point your camera at the fridge. Yeah. It tells you what you can make, what the caloric content is going to be. Yeah. I mean, I don't see the point for this app.
These apps are just not going to be around in the very, very short term, guys.
I think it's about, so I have that Cal AI app. It was $18 for the year. But the thing about it is that it puts it all together. Like the ChatGPT thing they can all do that for sure. But then the only thing I see as an advantage to it is that it just indexes everything for you. Like it just keeps it on there. So it's just like, you can go back and say, okay, what totals it all for you. Like a MyFitnessPal. I mean, you can ask anything to, hey, what kind of workout should I do today? ChatGPT will spit it out for you, but then, you're the one who has to put it into your own spreadsheets, which you can use AI to do that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So like we were saying, I think it's all about trying to figure it out, and if you're smart enough and have the time. And that's the other thing, too. I don't even think you need to be that smart to figure this stuff out. They will work it through with you.
Yes.
And many of these things are still free that you can use. Like I think if you're using ChatGPT, you can run out of tokens on the free side and for all of them, right? So I think it's awesome, and good for that kid to get out, man. $100 million at that age, you're done, man. Put that money in the S&P 500 and chill the rest of your life, man. I'll see you somewhere warm, I would assume at that point. You see a lot of these guys opening up family offices now. Leon Cooperman, the guy Howard Schultz, all opening up family offices now in Miami. One of the crypto havens of the world as well. Plus the no Florida state tax is nice. And but yeah, Adobe, back to realness here. Like it was a good quarter. It's the uncertainty about where they're going. And I mean, it's just stuff like what Brendan just said there. We can go, back and forth on where AI is taking all these software names. And it's just like, they're all slowly melting to the bottom. And doesn't look like this can't be recommended as a long, even though you're right at this level. I mean, it's like we were starting to make a rally back. I actually was expecting Adobe to potentially even beat yesterday, which they did. I mean, the quarter was great, and the market still hit them. So the only thing that I can see that would potentially rally this stock is that new CEO. I have no idea. I'm not in this space, but if it's somebody creative, if it's somebody that has, helped software companies rise from the ashes in the past, I don't have any names. I don't even know if that's who they're looking for. But sometimes new CEOs and new game plans can rally forward ideas. So I think if you're looking for something like that, we got a bump when Nike went back to that Hill guy. Now Nike's crushed again, but you could get a temporary bounce once a predecessor is announced. But for me on Adobe, I agree with Brendan and everybody that talks about competition. I I just think it's there, and it's here now, and it's in their face, and I don't know if they have a plan of action for it. So Adobe continues to be beat up there today, still under 1 million shares. It's not really a stock for me. It will go SSR. You could get the SSR bounce. So if it's on your scanners today, maybe program it in or put it on a list that shows you minus 10%. When that happens, it means you can't sell off the bid anymore. So that creates a little bit of action and a run up there as people start to panic, realizing that they can't hit the bid. So if you can't force the stock down, the only thing that can happen would be sellers of stock into the bid, and they may not choose to sell at these lows. So pop. But hey, that trade doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes it gets down 10%. They're like, all right, and then it starts to go even further. So yeah, interesting here. We're getting more and more information here about the Straits and about oil. So Adobe right now, downside, especially if this Nasdaq gives it up, man, this could be a really bad day. It's at a key breaking spot, and I don't think Adobe survives it here.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree on the idea that, yeah, these guys are absolutely done. We're seeing all of these different AI platforms that are coming up with pretty much the same kind of functionality as some of these Adobe products, if not better soon enough. But I think the only people that are kind of it usually takes time for people to kind of adapt to new technologies. People kind of trust the software on Adobe, so they might be sticking around there for a lot longer. But bigger picture, this thing's been kind of dead from 2024. The run up that we had into March and February of 2024, I did have some key levels marked off there. Oh boy, what a swing short that would have been, all the way from 520s. We're down into 240s right here, and this is the pre-market prices. This is weekly low. So 3 weeks ago, we hit that low, we broke down. So again, maybe more continuation happening within this trend. I'm seeing this prior levels. Look at these prior levels all the way from 2020. These are COVID lows here at 258s. We're breaking below those as well. So yeah, definitely making its way towards maybe the next support level, which is in and around 204.95 I'm seeing here. Those are lows from 2018 in December. So yeah, in the pre-market session, I don't know if we're going to get all the way down there today, but in the pre-market session, I do like that we're holding below this after hours level. We attempted to push that 250 and pulling back in. Yes, it is SSR. It is doing a decent amount of relative volume this morning, 24 times, and increasing relative volume as well as volume coming into the open at the same time. The market has been catching a bid. So I do have eyes on this one. Let's see if we can get maybe a potential continuation. That 250 is what I'm watching as well. And let's just go through this and kind of mark out some levels here. There's that after hours low. Just keep it simple. There's that. That's how far we could bounce on the flush down. This is pre-market highs right here. And you know what? The 4 a.m. low is nice as well, so we'll put that in. But I'm kind of more interested in this kind of level right here. Maybe this one. What is that? 7 o'clock. Post 7 o'clock low. You know what? We'll do this one because that's where the buyers are coming in right now. So yeah, maybe concerned with some of these levels here. That's 245, 246, 248 halves, and then 251s in the pre-market. And 250s, I'm going to keep that in my mind as well. But yeah, Adobe, interesting report. As Sean mentioned before, they did well on pretty much everything, but maybe the sentiment isn't really there anymore, and that's been showing on the weekly.
CVNA popping. It's coming back in a hurry here. Very, very light on liquidity, but 5-to-1 split just announced here from Carvana. So CVNA coming back in a hurry, as I said. I mean, it's very, very low volume. $300 was support yesterday. It sat there for most of the day before finally giving that up. So maybe we hold that $300 level, but 5-to-1 for CVNA.
A lot more tradable now.
Definitely. Maybe a little more liquidity as well. Yeah. This PayP was quite disappointing, to say the least, yesterday on its IPO day, but random huge squeeze here for no apparent reason without liquidity, I guess.
Yeah. Big move in the pre-market, as you said. Anybody who saw that move around 4 a.m., 5 a.m., big move. Maybe it's because, Aunt Kathy Wood buying here up to $5 million. She picked up around 275,000 shares when the company was basically offering little bit less than 55 million ADRs at $16 per share. Now, mind you, that was below the expected range. During the IPO phase, they wanted something between 17 to 20. They ended up getting a little bit less than that, $16. It ended up opening a little bit higher. I think it opened at 19, defended 18 during the midday, and then, you know, sold off quite aggressively. But in the pre-market here, up nicely, Brendo. Pay on the Nasdaq.
Yeah, we're trying to come back through 2150 right now. Again, it seems like, guys, anyways, correct me if I'm wrong, but a liquidity thing here.
I mean, I can't think about anything else because yesterday it was not very well received on the IPO, right? So I don't think there's very many. Well, it's going to be, maybe I should just zoom in just to yesterday. We can have a quick look. So this is where it came out at, right? And its best day was its birthday. And then it was all the way to the downside like crazy into 17 and basically goes out, not basically, does go out at its lows. And then right away at 350, for some reason, there we get that bump up. So I didn't even see an imbalance or anything on it, but maybe there was. That's about 347. And, you know, sometimes the imbalances get either leaked or I don't know what happened there. But right at the end of the day, might have been nothing to do with the imbalance. Someone thought that this thing was well oversold. And I don't know, it's not even like it spiked on a lot of volume or anything there at the end, right? I mean, most of the volume, it didn't even have the same volume that it had a half hour into its open. And it just went. So I don't know, that might have been a telltale sign. It gets right back up here. You can kind of forget about VWAP a little bit now, especially if you're looking today. But yesterday it was pretty good. It stops right there at VWAP, which makes sense, right? So they keep it underneath. That's what volume weighted average price is. So the bears still win. But then all of it, and that's the only reason VWAP is there is because the volume was so huge at open, right? Obviously, clearly, this is higher than the average price. Then boom, all of a sudden there, Obi, we came in this morning and you actually mentioned it to me and said how crazy that stock had gotten there overnight. These are dark pool prints. So we didn't get up there today. But these kind of prints, 23, 24, and how high did we get over?
I think 28. This is not showing us like until 4 a.m. But,
yeah, I don't know. Okay, so you thought maybe $28 there.
Yeah.
So I don't see any other reason other than a liquidity squeeze. This is a Japanese fintech. Yeah. Right, and so we've seen names like HKD, those are Chinese, and we had Luis Barbato on the show before talking about Chinese names and how they might be a danger spot for traders. But yeah, the move there in PayPay, I believe goes lower now. I just think that was somebody got squeezed out, and if you don't like the short, then get out right here at 22.50. I think it's a downside play today. You may have to pay for shorts. I don't know if you've done that, but
no, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I think it's a short. Doesn't mean I'm right. I know nothing about the company, but that seems like a squeeze. And once the market opens up, it'll probably retrace back down to somewhere where it was trading yesterday. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if you see that $17, $18 mark again in PAP today, PAYP, especially if if the market does turn around a little bit here. I think they'll sell the winners, and PAYP being up 17% on day two seems like it's too much, but hey, they wanted the market open at 16, it opened at 19, so there was a little bit of demand for it, and now it's at 21 and change, so congrats to those that bought the IPO. It looks like it's a win right now, and hey man, fintech names haven't been hot. Maybe this one's bucking the trend here.
Yeah, no, it's so I came to borrow some shares. Not too bad there. The rate is 2.6 pennies per share there, so that's not too bad there on PayPay. Yeah, a little bit of a squeeze action there after hours, and yeah, we were kind of talking about like how easy it could potentially be if you know somebody's sitting short on this off of the open. The open was great, definitely that VWAP short, maybe a little bit of a bounce off of that 18 was nice as well. This is what it did on day one. You can see here, this is what I'm talking about, that 19 rejection. Interestingly enough, I think this was a great place to kind of get in for the short, because look, you open up, let's get that VWAP out of there. This is a 3-minute chart. So you open up at about 19, you attempt to push 1920s and then seller step right back in. You push up all the way up into that 19 and then seller step right back in once again at a place where they were before. So more of the same takes us to low day, and then nice little squeeze action going into the close, and then some more action in the after hours and the pre-market as well. So I'll be continuing to watch that 19 level. I think that reference level is going to be interesting. If we can get below back 19, maybe there's more room for this one to go. But if we sustain some of these levels, again, it's already shown us that it can squeeze. Yeah. So there could be still shorts that are just sitting on this thing, and if they start getting blasted.
Short though, that's the thing. Like,
I mean, here's the thing. You even said this yesterday. Some of these IPOs haven't been working, so all the more reason to go the other way.
Yeah. No,
right?
I know. It's,
if you slapped it short off of the open at 19, you got paid well. Right? And then if you re-engaged on that 19 and say you don't take the opening print, you re-engage because you saw that it can't even get back through open, right, on the 19. Yeah, it gave you a great trade. And I'm pretty sure people were in it because that spike up going into imbalances, that's definitely covers. Like no one's running it up like that other than shorts covering, in my opinion. I could very well be wrong.
Yeah, no. I think, I mean, that's the only explanation for that kind of a move. Thank you, Kristen. Saw that note there. That was very kind of you. The community here is amazing. I mean, it's everything. It's all of us contributing. I mean, I'm probably the least contributed. So thank you to everybody for your kind words, for sure. And here's more contributions, man. I mean, I tweeted out this morning. What are you guys looking at here? Referee Ronnie should get in the penalty box here. KYIV right there. The Maple Leafs last night should be embarrassed of themselves. I'll talk about it. And they won 6-4. Okay, so here we go. Used gum. We had you yesterday. You had some good plays there. There's Obi's BW, by the way. He's looking at that. Dane Generous. Hey, what's up, Dane? You're always in the chat, so we like to see you there. You're selling some NVIDIA today. Interesting. The Palantir clean break of 155. We're looking at that as well. So I've got on my sticky note, I know that there's I said it must be Friday. I wrote down NVIDIA here, 153. It's 183. Okay, I mean, if it was 153, then yeah, it may not be in today if that was the price. Okay, so there it is, USO 115 here by IQQQ Trading. He likes that kind of a trade. Tom Lee talk here. All right, Michael, he's liking some Tom Lee action there. Texas boy, oh no, not Crystal. Here's Crystal again. Crystal, man, some of these people got to get blocked, man. You are not he. And there it is, man. Adobe, USO, and Tesla. Texas boy here likes all the movers today, and Tesla's going to be a good name as well. And then the currencies, says Sebastian, seem to be out of control. We looked at the DXY. It wasn't moving a heck of a lot, but thanks for all the participation on that chat there. And so I always like to look at, believe it or not, like I go through, obviously believe it, I go through all those every day. And if there's a name on there like that BW or something that I don't recognize, it's definitely something to look out for. So thanks for all those ideas. And yeah, let's ride, man. It's going to be a good day today. It's already 9:20. Oh, boy. Energy stocks right now. I guess energy's been pretty hot lately.
Yeah.
All right, let's go find out why.
Nah. 2 days in a row here, straight to the upside. Barely a red candle throughout the day. It's a 15-minute chart. But CVX looks absolutely fantastic here. Chilling out this morning, really not doing much. But I mean, the bigger concept here, the bigger story continues to be what's happening in the Middle East, and no change.
Yeah, and oil, whether you're looking at Brent or WTI, going to have another good week after another monster week last week. So Brent is on the move, possibly here for another 9% this week after a massive 27.9% surge last week. WTI also heading toward a weekly gain of around a little bit less than 6%. We'll see how that goes after having its largest rally since 1983 last week as well. Obviously, the U.S., Israel, and Iran conflict is approaching its third week, which is causing a lot of disruptions. U.S. President Donald Trump signaled the conflict could continue. Meanwhile, Iran's leadership has vowed to keep fighting. Several, I should say, foreign vessels, Brendo, were hit near the Strait of Hormuz, struck by ammunition. Strait of Hormuz carries roughly about 1/5 of the world's global oil. And the White House also temporarily eased sanctions on certain Russian exports, which is an attempt to stabilize the global supply. I was reading this morning as well, Prime Minister Modi of India did reach out to Iranian leadership directly as prices start, to get a little bit high. I guess he's trying to secure some sort of source of oil from them. In any event, now everybody's kind of... The world order, I should say, or whatever the order was for oil is kind of being challenged with the Jones Act as well being suspended yesterday. So a lot of mitigating factors.
A lot of media late in the day starting to hint at the simple fact that, yes, there was this release of the strategic reserves. That's a one-time deal.
Exactly.
So if this continues, then, yeah, we're right back to essentially where we started. This gap day here, $98. This is the futures for crude. This gap day, $98 comes into play a couple of times here this morning, guys, as resistance.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I'm going to pass it over to Obi, but that was exactly my thought, Brendan. I mean, you just nailed it right there. I was looking at USO as well and looking at some of those top fill areas and looking actually at this 119 on USO. I think that's a similar level that you had marked down. I mean, I'm just going to say, I'm going to pass over to you for some technical analysis, but for me, it's all about like the best trades on oil. that I've had have been news related, not technically based on, you know, like, although I love like the gap fills and I love all that kind of stuff, but like when there's an announcement about something, either the Strait opening up, which I don't think that will happen, but we got a good report earlier today that shot up the futures there that you're going to see just on the Nasdaq there. We can also talk about USO getting to the downside right there on the same news that potentially Iran was striking a deal with Italy and France about their boats being allowed through. So, you know, some kind of news like that really is going to be what I'm waiting for on USO. But are there any key levels or anything, Obi, that potentially you're looking for?
Yeah, no, I think I'm watching, you know, that 19 level potentially. That was the open of the week. We did get above that 120s, but I think you're 100% right. Like the ones that I've been doing well on was kind of these aggressive moves that do come in, and sometimes I'm positioned for them already because I'm seeing something on the book potentially coming in, or I just have like a bit of a feel for you know, the tape kind of slowing down in a certain direction. But yeah, if you kind of see that the news has already happened and we make a lower high and then you get that continuation, I think those have kind of been the more I guess you know, profitable trades for me, where I'm just waiting for that news to come out and then exercising some of my abilities on that as well. You can see that nice little capitulation once again yesterday at 114s. That brings us all the way back up to those highs, which was interesting to me as well. So yeah, I was very patient. I didn't participate in this strong bid at all in the morning, and I kind of waited to see. I like my reversions. So I waited to see some of the stuff that would indicate some sort of a reversion. I did get involved on these little tops, getting stopped out a couple of times, and then it finally did come in with the news, which was the trade right there. So you got to be quick, you got to be fast, and you got to be on your toes for this one, because when that news comes out, things will move pretty aggressively. And now I want to shout out this cool infographic by Themes ETF that came up on my feed today, where it's just like, yeah, Sharif just mentioned this, about a fifth right there. The Strait carries about 27% of global oil trade, and you get almost 21, I guess, million barrels per day that go through there, and then 37% of it is absorbed through China. So I guess most of it, over a third of it, getting I guess delivered to China. So it's a decent chunk of the U.S. Of the overall oil kind of flow in the world. But 89% of that oil that goes through Hormuz goes to Asia, which is also interesting.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, that's why China's so interested in this.
Yeah, it's like okay, if a lot of that oil is being delivered to Asia now, I don't know any of like the fundamental stuff. Is like our prices increase, which is interesting because that's not where we really get our oil from.
3 minutes, crypto bounce time.
I was just checking the weekly chart here for Bitcoin. I just read a note that says the first potential, anyway, 10% plus week for Bitcoin since September, which is hard to believe. But yeah, nice green candle anyways on the weekly chart here for Bitcoin. Quietly on a bit of a bounce here today.
Exactly. And this article that I read this morning, Brendo, a lot of interesting information. I want to get to this. So pushed above 72,100, that reclaims the 50-day moving average. Analysts say a sustained hold above the 50 could attract additional buyers in algorithmic flows. But there is, Joseph, very interesting positioning here in the options market. Let me get to it. Market makers in Bitcoin options markets currently hold about $3 billion of something called short gamma exposure at about $75,000 strike. When dealers are short gamma, rising prices in Bitcoin force them to hedge their exposure, which can amplify the upward move, right? This hedging activity can kind of create that self-reinforcing volatility, potentially accelerating the price if Bitcoin moves quickly to 75,000. So what are the dynamics for dealer hedging? Well, options market makers typically try and maintain a neutral exposure by adjusting positions as the price moves. But in a short gamma environment, upward price moves triggers additional buying. This has historically contributed to price accelerations if that happens. So something to watch out for there, a bit of a dual thing, the options market and the 50 EMA.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of room for this to go too. I mean, even if you just look at IBIT, I mean, 45 guys, 46 before we get really into some resistance.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down yesterday's closing price there. I said I would check to see if there's anything on Coinbase on the open because we did get that super chat. I'm not seeing anything here of any significance, man. There's really no imbalances today at all. So, you know, Friday the 13th might not be so spooky after all. What Coinbase is doing is 203.60. So there you go, man. Congratulations. I mean, that's what I was talking about. Wait for that open, see if there's a little bit of a bump. I think you're going to get Coinbase to the moon on that one. So just be careful on that. But great trade. They're buying at the close yesterday. You mentioned 193 there. I think it was Hindu something. So thanks for that. But yeah, no, thank the market for that. Nothing that I did. So I did buy Bitcoin down at 66,000. We talked about that live on the show. Went against me a little bit. I think it went to like 63, 64 or so. But now you're getting that little bit of a bump up, and it's just like, potentially, as Brendan said, man, I mean, potentially we've sort of seen some of these lows. We only have 1 minute left, so, you know, we got to run this thing. But I'm looking for IBIT long. And if we come back into the 200 period, $40.80, that might be something. Let it settle down. But I mean, I like crypto long. Meta, obviously some sort of announcements there as well. We only have 30 seconds to go. So we'll talk about Meta maybe when the market opens up. We'll get that story. Adair can cover that for you. What do you think about anything? I like MSTR as well today.
Yeah, I like MSTR. MSTR are doing some increasing volume, kind of pushing up past some of these prior levels, and we kind of compared this to Coinbase as well. Coinbase is already closer to prior week levels. This one has a little bit of space to go, so MSTR will be on watch for me, guys. So good luck with everything. Only about 5 seconds left until the
I actually like SLV. I like SLV here today as well, man. I mean, I sort of thought that. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Friday. Good luck. No matter what your positions are, we hope that you have the good luck there today. We're going to have Adair on the desk very, very soon, and we'll get those stories to you as they start to bop through. I'm going to watch out for USO today. Here's silver. I like 75 on silver. You know, kind of dropped into that level yesterday. Been buying it up. If silver falls down, I like that. A quick little look on Coinbase, as I know that there's some traders in there. Bang! That's good, man. Thank you for that super chat, because there it goes. There goes Coinbase. As we said, watch out for that open push on coin. We've seen this before, and there it goes. Congratulations for those of you holding that Coinbase there, and thank you for the super chat. Glad to get one right, that's for sure. There goes Coinbase right now as the Nasdaq's trying to rally. We also like the TQs long. I wrote down 47. It looks like now VWAP's up 47.20, so we can have a quick look there if that winds up holding. But yeah, so far so good here as this market's trying to take out some of the pre-market highs. 47.60 right now on the Nasdaq.
Yeah, so Adobe is pushing for that 251, so I am watching that nice little push there. So it's not SSR right now, but that 251 could be interesting if that continues to push with a strong bid. I'll continue to watch that one there. I think 250 is a good inflection point for me. That's the pre-market high, but we still have that 256, which was that bounce in the after hours after a strong flush in. Yeah, decent report as we were talking about. There goes MSTR as well. It had a nice opening drive, 45 to 46 as well. 253s on that spike right there on Adobe. Yeah, this thing has, I guess, anywhere between 30 penny to $1 spread as of right now on Adobe. So yeah, no, I'm gonna be
nice bounce.
I'm gonna be a little bit, yeah, decent bounce there. So maybe a little too far, too fast on the flush down in 246s, and there it goes. So I think 256, 250, I guess, was nice. If you hit that 250, you got like almost $3 pretty quickly there. MSTR taking a little bit of a pullback here as well. I guess Oracle was on watch for me because all day yesterday gave me the same trade that I had on Monday, Sean, where it kind of goes up into those high 60s levels, 160s, and it fades again. And today it looks like so far we're getting a little bit of that continuation back down. I have that 157.80 level as a potential area of interest for me as well, but nothing on the board yet.
We want to say welcome to Adair. Adair, how's your Friday? Can we get that Meta story when you get a chance?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, 3%. There are some reports that they're going to be going with some Google AI instead. Apparently, that avocado is not going very well, and that's just off the top of my head. But even if I'm just going to look at the watch list so I can get all the details on this for you. So yeah, it's literally what I said. They're going to be delaying their avocado model until at least May 2026, as reported by the New York Times. Testing showing they're still lagging leading models. Back to you.
Too much oxidization on that avocado. You know what happens if you let air get to it, man.
Yeah,
It gets a little rotten over there. Oh boy, shouldn't say that, that's your line. There goes NVIDIA up to 186. That's up 1.5 right now as well. Another long situation. Okay, by the way, first position in for me. We're gonna go long the Nasdaq. Let's just wait. I want it to drop into VWAP, but if it's not gonna do that, then I don't have any choice but to go long. I have a choice, but I'm gonna go long now. Yeah. Let's go. Nice little early trade there. Yeah, let's go. Right into there. So I just took it basically small. It's 2 units. It's okay for me. I wanted to get like 10 units down here if we did fall in. So if we do come in, we'll put on a much bigger trade here at 47 at VWAP. And then if we lose 47, we're out. I mean, I think it's a pretty easy trade. So we'll get out a little bit right here. We do want to put on a bigger position if it does come into 47.20 where VWAP is. So that's going to be sort of something that I'm looking to do right there. Take a little bit out as we get into the pre-market highs. That was 47.60. Like I was thinking about breaking that long anyways. So the fact that we got long early and were able to get a piece out there, we only got out of a quarter though of that trade and looking for a dip down. If that can come in, then we'll be excited for that one. So that's that trade. And then just to talk about Meta, as you had just mentioned there, yeah, downside, down 3% now and starting to get going. So maybe this market does want to lose the bid after all, you know? I mean, I know it's really early days. It's only 4 minutes in right now, but we just did have a problem running that high. That's a little nerve-wracking to me. I still want to test this low if it does come in on the TQQs, but right now it's not the be-all, end-all. IBIT on the Nasdaq. This is going to be a crypto, obviously. This is Bitcoin. We can check out MSTR. Obi and I both kind of like that breakout right there, but we are coming back in. Watch out for VWAP at $41 again right now. I'm not going to take the long because I am waiting for that Nasdaq to come down. So I'll take the Nasdaq long. I'm not going to take both of them at the same time, but IBIT's right there as well. Okay, you're in Adobe, so let's go. Let's hit that. I heard the keys getting hit. So let's go see if that is doing anything. Before we do that, though, USO, just want to take a quick look. Not moving around. We've got Adair on the desk. We're ready to rock and roll. Welcome. It's Friday the 13th. Right now, you're into Adobe. Yep. What are you thinking over there?
I'm thinking there's a lot of size there. 10,000 shares at 251 halves right there. So I'm kind of looking for that guy to get hit. If it does, more confluence for the short, kind of showing me that sellers are really willing to kind of push this in. But again, there you go. There's that guy. Bye bye. Let's see. But that was in and around VWAP, I guess, as well on PPRO. So we'll wait and see if this one potentially comes into fruition. Nothing too crazy. Again, there goes MSTR with a little bit of a flush, market flushing down as well. What's up, Adair?
Keep an eye on Eli Lilly this morning. LLY in focus. This just came out at 9:33 a.m., so this story's about 2 minutes old now. Kroger launching an Eli Lilly Zepbound GLP-1 quick pen access in participating store pharmacies. So LLY, really nice push here. There's like a $15 push here from that opening price for Eli Lilly on this Kroger launch of their Zepbound GLP-1 quick pen access. Back to you.
Thank you, Adair. All right, man. I mean, we're in it now. We didn't... we've gone on a decent amount of units here as this has fallen right back in. And maybe this is just the beginning of a move down. So we're going to get out if this breaks 47. Okay, we're long here at 47.27. 30-cent hit is fine for this. I wanted to see it come back in, test VWAP, and get going through that. It's not necessarily doing that. It's still early days, but we are waiting for this. We're now basically flat on this trade, so we're not going to panic too much, but our stop is where it is. So if we're going to get stopped out at 47 break, we'd like to take 20 pennies to the upside. So let's see if we can get back into the 50 area and try to cash a little bit out. I mean, the 50 period moving average is right there as well. So I think that would be a decent spot to look for an out if it manages to go up. We haven't hit our first trades that well, though, over this week. So maybe we need to just, calm down here a little bit, see if our targets are right, sit on our hands just for a minute and not get stopped out. So we're going to give this one a little bit of room. And here we go, right back up to the upside. I'm going to take advantage of that, take some out there at 34s. And then we also sitting here at 40s. Hopefully we can get that little bit of a bump, and then we can see if we can get it. There it goes. If we can get a little higher now. Yeah, good trade here. Early day on the TQs. We talked about buying that dip into 20. It looks like it works. We just get a 40 there. So far, so good on the early trade here on the TQQ. So I'm pretty happy and proud of this early trade.
Yeah, no, I'm still kind of. I saw that MSTR, and I'm looking at a lower time frame, and I'm just like, wow, the reversion was absolutely beautiful off of that pop. You can see the market kind of confluence as well with that flush down towards that 24.6 from that 24.7. So pretty decent first 15-minute bar that we're forming here. But yeah, what a great kind of quick opening drive. You got that 44 halves all the way to 46, 46s and some change, and then when the sellers stepped in, oh boy, they step in real hard. 44 halves, 45s, 44s, now trying to bounce on top of 42 halves as well. So a bit of a misplay on, or missed play on my part there. USO, nothing really. I'm just going to wait for some news to come out. I have, I have some of my resources, and we also have Adair as well that is going to be keeping us updated on any developments that are coming out on oil there. Adobe, yeah, I'm just kind of lightly in this. If this kind of cracks the highs, I'm going to be gone as well. The market is bidding right back up as well. But what do you got? The TQs, nice.
We nailed this one, man. We nailed it today. Yes. Oh. Finally, like that was a good one, man. We're able to grab that trade, and just thinking that it was. I mean, we mentioned it here. You guys always wonder about the sticky note, and I had mentioned today risk on a little bit off the open, right? We wanted to go Bitcoin long. We wanted to do all of that, and here it goes right here. Feels risky. I even said it right here. Feels like a risk on type of start to this morning. So I know I wrote down 153. I did correct it, everybody, on the note right there. A lot of people mentioning that I had that wrong, but there it is, man. We like that trade. There's the TQs. We take it and we rip it, and there it goes upside on the Nasdaq. So far, so good there. Double the daily goal, which is always nice right off the open. It's not a huge daily goal, as we mentioned. We're just trying to tell people that, hey, if you put on one good trade, you can have one good result. And there, yes, oh my, Obi. This is a good trade for me here today. So we'll see if we can get extended. We just went to the top side again, and unfortunately, we are showing you the sticky note, and we should have showed ourselves right there that was another top, and it completely missed that. So we'll see. I'm going to see if we can get something. I'm offering 54s and then 60s again, and then we'll have half left. So there it is. There's 54. So, okay, happy to get that out. Doesn't feel bad that we missed that now. And then if we can still get a 60, we'll try that. I'm at 63, which is that high trade of the day there. We went to 70s. If we can get 63, good on us, and we'll take that. What's going on with IBIT? This might be the one, man. So it looks like we might have been a little wrong there on IBIT, but we did choose, again, instead, Pikachu, I choose you. I chose the futures, but you could have chosen IBIT, and you would have been long down here as well if you had bought that VWAP dip. Chat of supers, apparently.
Ooh, what do we got? Super chat. Friedman, 1992.
Friedman. Yeah, we can look at.
Yeah, I'm watching that one as well.
Oh, you are looking at that. Okay, then why don't you go ahead?
NBIS. I have it up because I'm just like, this is a day, day 2, day 3? Yep. I think day 3 play on.
Was it Friday they got that deal with NVIDIA?
I think, or Monday.
I think it was Wednesday. I think it was the same day as Oracle earnings, day 1.
Okay, yeah, so it went
for us. One of us says Friday, one of us says Monday, and one of us says Wednesday.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna go with Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely Wednesday. No, you gotta listen to Adair's memory on that one there. So yeah, almost coming back up into 14s. I had some of these levels marked out. Take a look at this leg consolidation. A lot of consolidation yesterday, and then now potentially getting that leg once again. 114 highs, 114 10s, and we're kind of making a beeline up there and a bounce off of anchored VWAP as well at the same time. So decent push on day 3 of Nebius. I'm going to continue watching this one because, again, it's a large cap association trade, and it's been doing well. It's showing me the right kind of stuff for that potential continuation. Yeah, shout out to anybody who had it off of the open today. It seems like this Adobe might want some higher, but 256 is that level that I'm watching.
Highs on the Nasdaq.
Nice.
Yes, we finally breaking that mold. Let's go. Trade to the upside. What's going on with Google today? I mean, Google have fallen here a little bit. Trying to base out. This is looking like a good long, man. 304.50. If you're into Google, I almost pushed the key there to buy that name, and I was just like, I didn't want to buy it. Like, this is the thing. Like, sometimes I get too carried away with. This is starting to become something special now. All right, 40s, come on, give me that 76, my guy, right there. We just made a high into that USO pop high right there as well. I'm at 76, man, gimme never gets, but I haven't learned my manners yet. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Let's go. Right there. So here we go, man. This is it. Thank you so much, Dr. Shuttle, as he talks about it right there. The best, although, you know, we go back and forth. Are we a trading show? What kind of a show are we over here? I mean, I love us for the news. But yeah, we want to thank you here for this comment there, Dr. Shuttle there. Best traders on YouTube. So thank you so much for that one right there. We really, really appreciate that kind of notes there. And I just got to say, man, it's always a pleasure to sit here with a fellow trader such as Obi, putting that work in and, you know, doing the analysis and actually trading much differently, right? Like holding on to some positions, looking for key moves, and doing, you know, what some others are afraid to do. You had a great trade in Oracle the other day, of course, and that was an awesome one. And now you've stepped it up into Adobe. So guys, throw those ones up in the chat, man, and let us know your appreciation there for the man himself over here, Obi. So I want to say shout out to that and put it in there for Adair as well. I mean, I want to see that chat go absolutely crazy. I mean, TQQ right now, let's go. We've got these, man. We've got these. So let's go. Jake Paul, where are you at? We've got the diamond hands right now. Yeah, but I would get my ass waxed by Jake Paul. But here we go. Huge. Yeah, hey, you want $1 million? You know, what is that? That's nothing for Jake Paul. You want to fight Jake Paul for $1 million, Obi?
Well, if I knew if I was gonna fight him, probably get knocked out. But getting $1 million to get knocked out depends.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it might not be enough. I'm pretty sure I would be on the floor in the first 30 seconds, maybe, if I was lucky enough. There's a lot of energy in that boxing ring. That is for sure. And shout out to everybody that has that as a training boxing. I mean, there it goes, man. We just take some out right there on the high side of TQQs. We're going ham right now, man. This stock is definitely working in our favor right now. It's a big trade alert for me, Obi, as we continue to go upside here on the TQQs. I'm going to get another piece out here at 05, and there it goes. Let's go. This is a monster trade for me. What a great opportunity to end the Friday. We talked about risk on. I've got the #1 risk name here for myself. The TQQ is a triple levered Nasdaq name as we start to fly to the high side. What's going on with Carvana, someone might say, or no one might say it, but I'm going to say it. Carvana gets the 5-to-1 split. That's going to be a $60 stock. Adair, I didn't catch the date of split, but that's going to happen, and that's going to make Carvana much more.
Carvana?
Yeah.
Give me a second here.
Yeah, no problem. So that was announced in the pre-market there, Adair, so maybe it might have been missed. But yeah, good opportunity there. I don't want to buy it because of the split. I mean, we've seen, there was a name recently, Netflix, that split, that Netflix didn't give us the true split feeling because it's all of a sudden started talking about Warner Brothers. So we didn't get, you know, the real bump there that I thought we could have got from Netflix due to the split. So there's Netflix moonshot right here today. So I still have on about 40% of this trade, yes.
Okay, so Carvana, this came out at 9:05, which is why it wasn't on our watch list. This is going to be happening. I guess they would have to wait for shareholders to approve it on their May 6th meeting. If that does happen, they will start trading on a split-adjusted basis as of market open on May 7th. So this is a much longer time frame than we usually get for split announcements. Also, the other thing I was going to say earlier on that little button that I didn't get to, I would fight Jake Paul for free.
Don't say he may take you up on that. That wouldn't be much of a fight, Adair, but I do appreciate that.
Come at me, Jake Paul.
I like it.
Oh my
I like it a lot. Right there, you could fight his wife there, the Olympic gold medalist. They'll take Jake. Oh yeah, she wants all the smoke. Okay, I like that.
All right.
All right, train with Joey boxing gloves over there. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. But there it goes, man. We are now in your first dollar club.
Hey-yo, nice.
We're feeling pretty good about this right now, and there we go to the upside. Yeah, no, Logan Paul sent out a offer to anybody in the NFL wants to box him. He's ready to go. So no, I don't know if anybody's going to do that either. But Logan Paul, WWE superstar Logan Paul, and I say that seriously. Logan Paul is amazing. All right, interesting dynamic with the SPY going up and oil starting to base. Yeah, I haven't even looked at oil right now. I mean, I'm on cloud 9 with this TQQ trade right here, but interested to see what happens if oil goes higher than the overall markets. I didn't realize oil was actually spiking right now. Is it? CLJ, really. The market I consider spiking. I mean, we're up 1% on the Nasdaq and oil's not doing anything right now. But I think that's more of a comment, JKL, about the fact that oil is really not doing anything with this market spiking, right? So, oh man. Sean, man, I hope some of you sort of caught that little tidbit when I was talking about Google right there. Come on, bruh. I mean, right into there, 304. It was down here, and I was like, looks like Google. Like, I don't know if I want to go long Google because we're also long the Nasdaq. Just rewind the tape about 8 minutes, and you'd see that kind of comment. But it doesn't matter, man. Comments are worth nothing, in my opinion, until you actually make the trade. So we can give our opinions on everything, and I just think that hopefully you're here for that. And if you put a trade on Google, that would have been a great stop right there. You could have gone long at 305 with your stop at 304.50. That's 50 cents, and there's 250. So that's a good trade there. That's the kind of trading that I'm looking to do, Obi. We talked about that yesterday, the structure of trades and what those look like. So I'm going to take another offer right here on the TQs. I now have a third left. So if you guys are still in this and YOLOing it, that's great. But I'm out of a third right now of the TQQs. How's your Adobe position going? I haven't.
Not so good.
Oh,
it's
no?
definitely like, the longs are definitely winning winning on this one. I was kind of distracted. I had to set some other things up on the other side there. Right. So I dealt with that now. So now I can go back to kind of watching this one. 256s came in, and we're kind of holding this 256. So probably going to be definitely wrong on this one. I have been wrong on this one for a few dollars now, but continuing to watch this again. Very lightly positioned here, looking for that backside to potentially kind of slam into it. But if it's not going to give it to me, that's fine as well. I'm more than willing to take a little bit of a hit on this one and then move on to the next trade here. 256s though, why I like that? That was the area where you kind of flush down on the earnings report, and then you attempt to bounce, and that attempted bounce couldn't really get past it, but maybe it needed the open session volume to really get past it right now, as we are getting all the way up to 257s as of right now, but we'll wait and see. 115s on USO. So yesterday I really liked it in and around that 118 level. We got some more of that selling here at 116s this morning. Bit of a reference price to some of that strong selling off of the news that came out in the pre-market. That's sitting around 1560s. You can see here a little bit of a struggle getting past those. But I'll wait for an intraday news report to kind of see if I can take anything off of the price action here on USO. Let me know what you guys are trading as well. I got eyes on a few different things there. Nebius got to 114.85 there on Nebius. So great look there to the member in the chat who kind of pointed that out, being like, okay, yeah, this is still very much in play, and it might take a few days for it to really come into fruition, and we've seen that happen. We said that Wednesday was day one. Wednesday was day one?
Yep.
Yes, Wednesday was day one. And for a second I thought today was Thursday. So I was like, that wasn't yesterday. But day three happening
today's
today.
Tuesday, actually. Too.
Yeah, today's Tuesday,
and
we still have a few more.
Oh, no, okay. A few more days
left.
This week. No, it should be a good weekend. We have a game tonight here in Etobicoke, nice. And then there's a game on Saturday in Guelph. So if you guys are in Guelph, check out. I will be in Guelph. Doesn't mean that if anybody's in Guelph, we can meet up if you want. But okay, so there goes. You're on Adobe right here. Thank you so much, Hangry Wife, and everybody in there in the chat for this trade. And there's a risk always to do copy trading and things like that, and that's not something that we promote on here or anything like that. But it's the idea generation. That's what we want from you guys, man. We want the ideas. We're glad to be here to sort of provide some of those to you. Here's the stock. Thanks for putting that up there, the stock visualizer. Let's go over and have a look to see what stocks you guys want us to trade right now. I'll have it up on my screen as well. So just to get this going. So Adobe, obviously we've got Obi looking at Adobe right now for everybody. So you guys can have a look at that and follow his trade there. Palantir, we had some 155 talk on that. EONR, we said EOR yesterday. Not bad, up 2.5% there today. Orbs led the day in volume yesterday, I believe, now up to 93 cents there. Bitcoin moving around. Micron doesn't have a price there. We can go have a quick look. Coinbase, oh, Robinhood. All right, yeah. So now I get it. Let's go over and have a quick look at Robinhood, because this is a name that I've really liked, and I liked it in the mid-70s. It was there yesterday. I didn't buy any. It's still here right now. I didn't know that. That's why I wanted to say it before I hit enter. I thought with crypto going up, Robinhood would be going up. So this stock is completely disconnected. I am not interested anymore in Robinhood. I thought there was going to get a bump if that did happen. Doesn't look like that's happening right now for Hood. So I'm going to be hands off on Robinhood, but I think this is a name that does have an opportunity to go. I mean, trying to bounce around right here. This is a new idea in the finance space, right? We know the zero trading fees. They do have that new gold card and different, was it Robinhood with the gold? Yeah, it was, right? The platinum card?
Oh, yeah, the platinum card.
Yeah, that was it there. So they're trying different things. I like that. I think we all got to like that. But for me, I'm choosing SoFi. I like the charter bank there that they have. And, just thinking that SoFi is a little bit more safer than Robinhood. Now, that's not been true because, they're both down 50% or so from their highs, right? I mean, Robinhood's high was around that 150. SoFi's high was around $32. And it just keeps on going right there. So yeah, so $32 down to 17. Not great for SoFi. But again, if you like the Chargers, you got to support SoFi Stadium, right? I saw their quarterback there, Justin Herbert, one of my favorite quarterbacks. I didn't know who he's dating. Last name's Beer. I didn't. Madison Beer. That's who it was. I saw on Twitter, on Instagram yesterday. I don't even know who that is. But anyway, shout out to the Los Angeles Chargers and SoFi Stadium, the home of. Why? Thank you. I know that wasn't for me. The home of some World Cup games. Which is, we could talk about the World Cup. There's gonna be some controversy there, which teams are showing up and which teams aren't. All right, what's up, Adair?
Keep an eye on SAIC. Volume on this is pretty light, like it's just under 100,000 shares traded right now. I only bring it up because it did win a contract from the Department of Defense. Just seeing this company has bagged a $123 million Department of Defense contract. So SAIC on watch. Again, light volume, so do be careful, but I wanted to let you guys know in case this volume does pick up. Furthermore, again, 6 minutes, we are going to be getting economic data, JOLTS, job openings, and University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Both of these prints do have a propensity to move the market if they come crazy out of line of what we're expecting. I will, of course, talk about those expectations when we have only a minute to go before the print, but just a heads up, those numbers are coming, and I will be delivering them to you. Back to you.
So I think something just happened with USO here. Let's see. You have some. Okay,
there is some oil news there. Yeah, USO moving around. We did get a nice bump up there for the TQs, back to highs of 48.20, giving us that dollar one more time. But getting lighter and lighter now, man. 20% left on this trade. Adair, just say when, and we can throw it to you. Okay, so there is some news on oil there. We just saw USO going.
Nothing massive. It's just a couple of little headlines, so I'll bring them all up here. UAE just saying their air defenses are currently dealing with a missile threat, and I just got a bigger headline here, so this just came out like 6 seconds ago. Pentagon reportedly weighing sending more warships to escort tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. So again, U.S. Pentagon reportedly considering sending more warships to escort these tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. I'm also seeing apparently Dubai residents getting a potential missile threat alert a couple minutes ago. British Maritime Trade Center saying that one of their ships was targeted near the Strait of Hormuz and then caught fire. So more Strait of Hormuz tensions here as the Pentagon considers sending more warship to help escort these tankers.
Yeah, not great news for the overall space over there in the Middle East. I mean, we don't like to hear those missile warnings or anything like that, but obviously helping to rally the market, I believe, is the Strait of Hormuz story there, but then USO also, and to the point of that super chat that we got about oil and the market. I mean, you're kind of seeing a little bit of a disconnect right now from these stories and from, overall oil moves, right? I mean, in the past, when we had heard stories like that, it had rallied like crazy. USO, and right now we're not really getting that. And here's the J contract. I'm actually going to look at volume to see if there's any sort of a difference right now. The J contract, 164,000 right now, and we can go into J is April. Let's go to May and see K. K's still 119, so we're still on the J contract, but as you can see, price is getting a lot closer to each other right now. It looks like current spot crude, 94.40. What's up, Adair again?
Have some more context in that oil headline. So it looks like, again, we heard reports that the Pentagon is considering sending more warships to escort tankers to the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, these escort missions won't even begin until they see a reduced threat from Iran. That process could take over a month as U.S. strikes are continuing to target Tehran's missile and drone capabilities. So long story short, yes, Pentagon considering sending more warships to escort tankers. No, it's not going to be immediate. Back to you.
Are they sending Kevin warships?
But nice. I like that.
I mean, I'm here, but it's okay. Thanks, Adair. Yeah, it's not bad. All right, so we're gonna see. You don't want them to send those Kevin warships, that's for sure, at you. But yeah, not bad. Having some fun here. Thanks, Adair, for that story. But yeah, you can see here oil just doing its own thing right now, and it seems like it's disconnected. I did see a super chat up there. Was that a different one, or I didn't mean to? We had to. Okay, the same one. Okay, so all good on that one. Palantir, you know, a name that's well traded during war times, it seems like. I mean, ever since that was sort of had happened there, we mentioned this is going into this will be the third weekend. Is that what I heard there? Yeah, so, you know, you had seen this is February 9th sort of bottom there for Palantir. Now you've had almost, you know, 20 days or so of trading upside now. Not all upside, but that was the low. We had ticked around there, and now you can see sort of started to go. It's funny because, and Neil can talk about this obviously when he gets back, but this Arrow environment, I did not pick anything up near the lows there. They did have a bad quarter. This is a name that Neil likes as well. I like this name. I'm not into it, and I kind of feel like I should have bought something on that day. And I was actually, I think Joe and I, we were talking a little bit about this name, or some of us were, and that had a huge move down into that 190 area. I think this is a good buy down here. This is a drone maker. And, you know, I really like where Neil was thinking here because, you know, heading into this controversy, or this conflict, I guess, makes sense, right? I mean, Iran right now is basically out of weapons from what we know, and they're just firing drones everywhere. These drones are made pretty cheaply and do have, unfortunately, this is gonna sound bad, but you know, a good bang for your buck. I mean, that sounds ridiculous to say that, but that is kind of what the idea behind the drones are. It takes millions of dollars to get these things out of the sky, but takes thousands of dollars to put them in the sky. So it is one of those things where it's not the great equalizer. I mean, but it is something that we have to worry about. And I think AV, and so many of you have other names as well in the space that you like. So put some of those names. There's RKLB, Rocket Lab, and a few different names that are interesting like this. And I kind of put Palantir in a similar boat to these names. But AV, I like it. And I think a depressed stock like this maybe is worth a look. Let me know what you guys think in the chat about Aero Environment. I mean, I think that's a good level there to potentially start a position in it. You know. That's it. Okay, yeah, there it is. Thanks to MKE. Drone warfare is the future. I think that's here right now. So future and present times, the drones. All right, man, we got some numbers we do have numbers at 10 o'clock? Let's go over to Adair right now, 20 seconds away from that.
Sean, not only do we have numbers, we have two pretty large numbers coming at the same day, which we don't normally get. That's University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment forecast for 54.8 versus 56.6 prior, so we are expecting a decline. We're expecting an incline in JOLTS job opening, 6.75 million, 6.542 million, and 1 second, we should be getting this. Consumer Sentiment, 55.5. So that's going to be below the previous print of 56.6, but above the forecast of 54.8. JOLTS job openings, 6.946 million. That's going to be above the forecast of 6.75 million and the previous print of 6.542 million. Now, University of Michigan inflation prints 3.2%, so lower than that 3.4% forecast. 1 year inflation expectations 3.4% versus 3.7% expected. So to summarize, I'll start with the University of Michigan data. The fact that we got a higher than expected sentiment print shows the market's a little bit more enthusiastic. Sentiment's a little bit better than we were expecting. However, this print is still below the prior print. So sentiment is not quite as good as it was last month, but better than we were thinking it would be. Now, for the 5-year and 1 year inflation expectations, both of those are lower than expected. So consumers are seeing inflation a little bit lower than we expected they might. Furthermore, JOLTS job openings, that 6.946 million print, that's going to be higher than we were expecting. So more job openings than we thought there would be. Slight bounce here in this Nasdaq, though it's already kind of trying to push lower. Of course, if I have to talk headlines, we're going to talk oil. Just be aware here, guys, if you are trading USO, of course, very headline sensitive. Some headlines we have today, apparently some missile warnings coming out of Dubai. And I also have to bring up the fact that, again, as we mentioned a couple times now, Pentagon is reportedly considering sending some warships out to help escort these tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. They don't expect these efforts to take place for a month or longer. And tons of earnings on watch here is Adobe, ADBE, pulling back a little bit around this 256 level. This report was solid, but unfortunately, the CEO did announce that he was resigning. Market does not seem to love that news. Ulta Beauty, another solid report. This stock, however, though pushing a little bit lower. It's worth noting their guidance going forward for fiscal 2026 was not quite as strong as we hoped it would be. It wasn't a massive miss. It was more in line with estimates. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. The market taking a little bit of a pullback off of its highs there, and I guess USO pushing past above that 116 here.
Yeah, it looks
but I was saying, yeah, that NBIS was probably the one. That is where the Momo is on the day as of right now. So here's the thing. I guess Adobe's kind of coming in here. Hasn't really done everything that I'm looking for just yet. That 256 has held as a little bit of a level. I did get a little bit more involved. Nothing too crazy, as you know. My average is right in and around here, 254. So I kind of just like evened it out right there. But could have been a little bit more aggressive. But again, with the kind of spread this thing has. And with the way it's moving, I'm not really too aggressively sized just yet. But once I start getting that confirmation, again, sometimes I just like to take some fills for just a feel. You know, I want to feel it out.
You had a great out there. That's what it is.
Sorry?
On your Adobe, did you get?
No, I didn't get out. I didn't get out.
Get out yet? Okay,
No. I've been short. It was against me. It was against me on my initial size, like almost 3-4 points there. But then I got in more the place that I kind of was looking for. But NBIS, we'll talk about that one right after we get back.
Yeah, last week Trade the Pool hosted a live draft where 12 stock coaches built their starting 5. 5 stocks they believe can survive the bracket and win the tourney. Now it's your turn to join the madness. Challenge number 1, pick the coach you think has the strongest team. If they win the tournament, you could win an evaluation trading account. Challenge number 2, think you could beat the coaches? Well, then build your own core 5 picks. If your picks then outperform the tournament champion, you win the grand prize. Sign up as a group and your prize pool doubles. Trade the Pool is putting up $2 million in prizes on the table. The tournament starts March the 16th, so get ready, man. That's this weekend. Scan the QR right now and get in the game with Trade the Pool. S&P futures now falling, which is not great, but we did stop out of half of our position left. We now have under 10% left on that. Good outs. We don't have the complete top there, and that's the thing that I need to work on a little bit, as I keep on saying anyways, is trying to make sure we hold a little bit to the top end, which we did. I mean, this is a good trade. It's still very, very obviously profitable. I couldn't be happier with it, except for if it kept on running. There is a possible reload situation now. You are back into VWAP, so I don't mind that. Personally, I'd rather wait for like 47.40s down here where the 200 period moving average is, and if we can get that kind of a price, then fine. But I am now going to wait to see if we have some upside push back into the 25 period at 47.95. So we did get out of half of what we had left there. So we'll start to offer some outs on the upside in case we do get that rally back into the market, right? Not sure if that's going to happen. NVIDIA, some other names, and I'm going to look over the broader market in a second. There goes NVIDIA, topped out at 186. I believe it was you, MF Dane, that wrote down 186. And this is why I'm asking for these things, right? I mean, there's a sticky note today. We nailed the TQQs. We talked about risk on. That was a great trade. And we said to the start of this morning, risk on. The morning's now started and stopped. It's 10:05, so that morning push is already back in. Right here, I was like, what are you guys looking to trade today, right, is what we asked for. So if I go down here, and I just want to review what you had mentioned here. There it is right here, Friday the 13th. And I think it was 186. Where's that? Yeah, there it is. Selling some NVIDIA today, Dane, hopefully around 186. So I go bang on that one. And that, my friend, is I'm going to hit this in a while. Uh-oh, does that mean we're gonna have chicken today? You nailed that 186, Dane, so that's an awesome level, and I hope you're able to get out. That was basically 186 right off the open. You did get another push to 90s there, so congrats if that was in your playbook and still is. That was a nice trade, so I'm not sure if you sold out of your position there, as you mentioned, or took the short. Either way, you're winning on that one, man. Great trade there. Tesla had, again, there's that move, Obi. Every morning, Tesla gives you something, it feels like. Yeah. There's the move down into 95.5, right back to 4 bills, and we sit directly in the middle right now on that trade. So, yeah, a couple good things there. There's MF Dane. He says, thanks for the shout out there in the chat. You are welcome for that one. Great trade there. And that's why I want to keep that flow going, right? I'm going to keep on asking to see what you guys are up to, because Adobe, you're on Adobe, but Obi, myself, Neil, whoever's here, all different ideas. Adair trades on the desk as well. And obviously Joe, we hear about his trades, and you're gonna hear him in a couple hours, well, 1 hour actually, how that's going. I heard Eli Lilly was up today, but it doesn't, okay, yeah, it is, all right, up to. Yeah,
I mentioned this story earlier. They're just their Kroger. Kroger's gonna be offering one of their pens for Wegovy, I believe.
So good bump, right? I mean, for Eli Lilly. Zepbound. Like to see that get going through 1,000 and break that 1,002, right? So that would be a good little trade there. But okay, so you're still in Adobe,
it's
Obi,
working out
and
a little bit.
yeah, the tongue twister that happens. Of course, I have to be on the show with you when that happens, so I'm going to screw it up a bunch of times. I wish it was Neil. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Obi, when I say look at this, what should I really be saying?
Would you look at that?
Yeah, would you look at that? So here we
take a look at it.
Will you take a look at this? The only name that's down there, Meta, Palantir down 0.65 is like it hasn't just woken up yet. That could get real nasty if it wants to go. You're seeing right here, this is an interesting name when you take a look at that. Salesforce down there getting hit a little bit with Adobe. Obviously, Adobe's made a little bit of a move back up this morning, but Salesforce and some of those software names, to the downside there. I mean, Adobe, good quarter, but, the market does not like that name, that is for sure. Eli Lilly, good. Utilities names going well as well. Every time these producer manufacturing names are down, it reminds me of XLI. You can get the industrial ETF, XLI. And Caterpillar, AMAT, Lam. I love pretty much all of these names. I just... especially with the rebuild of this world that's going to have to happen as well. I mean, Caterpillar with their machinery is a good one there. Deere's been getting hit a little bit. I like John Deere as well. That could be a good name there. Consumer non-durables, some financials today, a little bit back up to the upside. I don't know if these are out of the clear yet. There still is some worries here on the financial side of things to see if this market's relatively healthy. Disappointed to see Robinhood and IBK are still to the downside despite a nice move in crypto today. So. That's a little look at sort of the broader market. We will have a look back at that. Adair has her sector watch as well, so she'll cover more in detail some of those plays. So it was a good out for us to get out on that break of the 50 period. Now we're at VWAP right now. It does look like the market wants to give back just a little bit. I'm going to offer some 61s, get out there and see if we can do a little bit better with this trade. But looks like the market is trying to pull back a little bit here. I still kind of like the reload down here at 47.20, man, where we first got it. We're very light on this trade, but... yeah, not super happy that we didn't continue to play higher as we saw oil start to go a little bit. And I think finally there was a little bit of connection there between the market and oil. As the oil goes up, the market should come back down. And that's sort of what's happening right now. So we'll sit on our hands a little bit with this trade. We got out a little bit there on the CL. And then IBIT was another look for me as well here today. IBIT, the 40 longs didn't come in, obviously. As we wrote that down here. Still trying to go 41.20 right now as well. So I see you're looking at a name that we don't talk about too often, Nebius.
Yeah, so this is the one I kind of definitely missed here as well. Again, doing some relative volume. Day 3 of the move today, a large cap association. So definitely day 1 was quite nice, but the bigger picture, this is a bigger picture trade as well, in my opinion. And so that's why, being trader who's mainly focused on intraday moves, I do have to continue watching this, not only on day 2. Day 2, I didn't really see anything really actionable other than maybe trying to get involved with this chop for a push lower. But again, it held that consolidation low from day 1. I only have 2 levels marked out on this one, plus the anchored VWAP, because I'm like, all right, cool. We made a bit of a range here. I guess this held that pre-market reaction high as well. I could technically have that one, this support line, the support resistance line on there as well. But I was more interested in some of this here, the high day on day 1, and then a bit of a double bottom hold at that 108.40. And then I reminded people that, like, yeah, remember on the weekly, this thing had some resistance right here at that 110, 111 level. So if we're gonna gap up, push on news, this is a multi-week, multi-month resistance level or consolidation high, whatever you wanna call it, maybe some supply up here in the 110s. We are technically breaking out of that here. We'll just go to an hourly right here so we can see that a little bit cleaner. For now, we're holding some highs. Sure, we have a little bit of headwind here at maybe at 118s, 119s, 120s, all the way up here for a high of 141s on Nebius. But it's holding up quite well today. What I missed was that opening drive. So did have it on watch. Out of the 8 stocks that I'm watching today, some of them are day 2 plays, some of them are day 3 plays, and some of them are day 1 plays. What are those? I can tell you right now. Adobe, USO, Sentinel-1, which had earnings, and it's headed to the upside. Nebius, Ulta Beauty, Bumble from yesterday doing absolutely nothing.
What a surprise.
Oracle, still some seller dominance on that one as it breaks back below that 160, and then Hims and Hers as well. So those were the things that I was watching off of the open, and I mentioned a few of them. But yeah, Nebius, definitely one of those that, right back through those 112s. Even if I'm looking at prior day highs, we already started to chop that bit up off of the open, and look at this beautiful pullback into that anchored VWAP where, you know, we held a little bit of resistance yesterday. Now that turns into a bit of support. So that 112 break could have been nice. Even this little chop here for a quick scalp through 114s to a high of 116 halves was nice as well. Let's take a look and check on our, what is this, Oracle? Adobe? No, Adobe, ADBE, yeah. Funny, when you trade the chart, you don't really care what it's called. It's You're just like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, no. So holding up at some of the levels that I did mark off before. Again, trying to keep it as simple as possible. The more you complicate it, you know, a lot of people talking about the fundamentals of these things. I really like intraday when you're trading a trade for like a few minutes to a few seconds to a few hours. Sure, some of that can add confluence, but that's much bigger picture stuff for me. So I'm just like, all right, I don't necessarily need to be concerned with that if I want to kind of exercise on just where potentially people are positioned, because I think that's what kind of matters more for me. But anyways, strong flush off the open. Not the open, the initial reaction from the earnings. This is what I like, the initial bounce. Let's see how far, after some sellers have been in charge aggressively, let's see how far the buyers can really take it, because that tells me something, right? That's a bit of information, and 256 is where that information kind of came in, and it seems like that was the area to get a little aggressive. Now, execution-wise, I could have definitely done a little bit better, because I did kind of I started a little early for sure. I can be starting here, stopping out on the 254 break, and then getting back involved at that 256, but at the same time, I'm kind of a trader who likes to feel things out sometimes. Thank you very much, Randy, for the coffee.
Thank you, fine sir. Oh, what a handshake this guy has. Jesus Christ, he must be.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Must be a carpenter over there. All right, shout out to Randy. Randy, I heard the Rivian R2, go grab that mic, oops, maybe it's right beside you there, is delayed now in Canada until 2027. I got the email yesterday, and that's a little disappointing. I was looking to get my hands on one of those. And then yesterday, Rivian did not have the greatest performance, of course. We've been fading it out a little bit there. $17 down to 15 and change. Did you hear anything? I know you're in some of those forums there.
Have not yet. I'm going to attribute to supply chain, but...
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying.
Don't forget, there's crash test safety things they got to go through. There's lots of little loops and hoops they have to jump through to get a product to market that consumers can buy. So, yeah, I'll follow up.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think it was on track in the United States for late 26, but I think here in Canada, a little delayed. So probably has something to do with what you're talking about there, and then shipping them up north and all of that, and then some of the rules that are going around with Canada, US, the trade deals and everything. So that makes sense. So I didn't actually look at that angle. But all right, thanks, Randy. We got to go to it.
Posted.
Yeah, thank you. We got to go to Adair right here for some breaking news. What's up, Adair?
I am seeing comments come through from President Donald Trump on Iran. And I'm just going to read the comments. Some of these are, you know, a little kind of all over the place here. So he says he thinks there could be more than 1,700 Iranian sleeper cells. He also said, and this is where things are kind of confusing, that he thinks the supreme leader of Iran is, quote, damaged, and then also said he's, quote, probably alive in some form. And then he also said that the U.S. is decimating Iran. So probably referring to the new supreme leader of Iran, the son of the former supreme leader of Iran. If I get more details on any or all of these comments, I'll let you know. But yeah, President Trump talking right now about Iran. Back to you.
Yeah, I had heard that earlier. Pete Hegseth said something as well, that they believe that he was crippled to some extent, whether or not he lost an arm or something like that in one of the explosions. So they had heard something like that. And I don't think that's necessarily going to affect the market as a whole. We still wait for the oil trade to come in there. And I mean, whatever leader gets put in there, if it's not somebody that is looking to settle, then I think they're just going to keep going after, unfortunately, all of the power that is in Iran until they get someone there that is approved by the U.S. government. EONR right now. I want to go back to this, right? I mean, we're looking at a lot of the same names here, but EONR is one. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please hit the like and the subscribe. We have Neil back on Monday. So we want to thank Obi for such a great week. We're excited to have Neil back, of course, but also I'm thankful to have Obi, and he's always filling in. So maybe I'm going to be sick, and you can come in on Monday, but I'll be here. All right. So EONR right now up 9%. So those of you that held it from yesterday, looks like you're getting another little continuation play higher right there. It's not where we were. I mean, we've come back in, but there it goes 130. This thing broke $1 and really hasn't looked back, right? But if you're looking, we sort of zoomed out yesterday when we got this question, and I'm glad we did that because it looks like, was this this morning? So those looks like dark pools. So we might have got up there yesterday afternoon. During Blue Ocean. Maybe we can have a look at the Blue Ocean charts in a minute. But EONR kind of goes all the way up to where it needs to go to right there and fades back out. So it looks like that $2 top happening in the after hours. Looks like that might have been it again. Back down to 150. I would say that, this kind of level could be something that's 120. So there's something in on that. But EONR up 10%, doing 61 million shares. So it's a good little level there, looking like it wants to break VWAP now. EONR, good base, good structure down here. I hear Sharif use that structure word, so I'm going to sound smart, hopefully, too. Down there, 135, good base support, good break of the 50, break of VWAP right now is what we're looking at. So I would say this is the launching pad. If you can break through there, watch out for a 160 pre-market high take, and then I think we can get back up to that 190. So that's EONR on your name. BIAF is another one that traders looking at, bioaffinity. So if you're going to talk about some big volume names here, this is 135 million. And these are the names where I sort of need to be identified this early on because there's the move at 8 o'clock. Like it did nothing, breaking through $1. Now you're at 260 right there. Look at it hold this 50-period moving average. So what a great trader that was today. BIAF. So nice move there for bioaffinity. Maybe when Adair is free, we can get the story on BIAF.
That's already going to be in the small cap recap. I already prepped it right as you mentioned it, so I will mention that in like 1 minute.
Always prepared.
There you go. So you're going to hear more about BIAF in 1 minute. We didn't get out of everything at the top, so it does hurt a little bit there for the TQs. Not hurt. This doesn't hurt at all. I mean, we only had 20% left. Then we started to drip it all out, man, and now we have
drip.
We have like less than 5%. So a lot of outs right here at 50 as we were in that area, back to the downside. So we give back a little bit of our LF. We have a little bit of an LFT there because we don't exit absolutely all of it at the top. And we probably should have. I mean, look at this 5-minute chart right here. The market is literally like saying no moss right here until it found potentially a bid right there at the 50-period moving average. So it's not looking like the greatest trade to take right here, so I think we'll sort of maybe hands off this and see if it wants to figure itself out. But the futures are looking a little interesting down here near 47.20 again if we can get to those levels. So that's something that I'm trying to deal with right now. And here it goes. Nice little pop back up. Even though I don't have that many left, let's take an advantage of that. Get something out at VWAP right there. So we did talk about potentially buying it off the 50 there on the Nasdaq. We didn't, but there it goes. Thankfully, right there back to the upside. And then that Google trade on a move down, maybe we can get that again. We identified that there and didn't take it. So Google missed opportunity for me right into there. Maybe we get an opportunity. We talked about small caps and some sort of a recap. Well, guess what? It's happening right now at the big desk with Adair.
I just want to start by mentioning uranium names here. So CCJ dropping really hard. President Trump in a Fox News interview right now saying, quote, the U.S. is not focused on an operation to take out Iranian uranium, but at some point they might be. So again, right now, President Trump saying the U.S. isn't currently focused on this uranium operation here with Iran, but at some point that could be the case. So that's quadruple U is going to be on watch here, as is CCJ. That is the uranium headline. In case you're wondering why uranium is dropping, that is in fact why. Let's start with ISPC before we move on to the aforementioned BIAF. ISPC, guys, announcing the rollout of new AI-powered inventory agent to enhance the review of incoming biospecimen requests. So ISPC, which has single-digit float, single-digit market cap, you can find more on our Trader TV Live watch list. They also had a catalyst that came out last night. Here is BIAF. They also had a catalyst from last night. Bioaffinity announcing record 2025 SciPath long revenue and unit sales. So strong sales, record sales apparently for this unit for BIAF. It's got like a $10 million market cap. Last but not least, CXAI, this is a name that has rallied in the past. CXApp, yesterday morning receiving additional 180-day compliance period to regain Nasdaq compliance. They've got like a 25 million share float. As of yet, they have not, in fact, regained Nasdaq compliance. They're currently trading around 27 cents. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And once again, if you're wondering, hey, why is uranium dropping? The reason is, once again, President Trump saying that, you know, at some point there could be an operation for uranium in Iran, but as of right now, not something they're doing. Back to you.
Great little look there. We didn't even have uranium on our watch there, and there it goes straight to the downside. So always great to get that story, and it's not even that old. I mean, it's a little couple 10 minutes or so there for that uranium trade. Let's see what winds up happening now with triple U's, and CCJ was another good one there as well, as Adair brought that to our attention. Maybe an SMR type movement. I mean, that's going to be the pure play. SMR, the nuclear plays, but it doesn't look like that's having too much of an effect. But the UUU trade definitely seems to be making some kind of movements around there. So we'll watch out for triple U's and CCJ and the rest of them, man. All right, there's so many names that are being put in the chat. We did get Open Door yesterday, had to move down. I think it was down like 9% or something. Yesterday was Open Door, so that's not a great look for that company. Battling back today, 3%. I thought like we didn't have a horrible housing number or anything yesterday, so it is a little bit of a shock for me. Door did get hit, but we're still trying to battle off that $5 mark, so that's not a horrible spot, I don't think, like for Open Door in here at $5. We bounced off of here a couple times in the past, and maybe we do get a little bit of a rally through on Open Door, but you got to think about like what's going to rally the housing market right now. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen Lennar or DH Horton or anything like that about all of this. So there it goes, man. Downside for Lennar, and look at the daily chart. Whoops. So there we go, man, to the downside there on Lennar. Keeps on going. I mean, we heard mortgage rates are starting to get back to, you know, a refi kind of level there. I think it was, what, 5.5 or so on the 15-year? You guys can tell me in the chat there. Looking a little bit better. So Lennar downside, but Open Door also making those moves too. The Nasdaq is making a little bit of a move higher. We'll take advantage of that if we can into the 60s again on this trade. But this is the only trade that I have today is the futures. You've got Adobe. So that's a trade happening there. USO. Unfortunately, like, I really wish there was more going on here, but right now, pretty flat on oil right now. So I'm not really looking over there. SLV. Oh, the one thing that, look, I'm going to tip my hat to crypto. We got that super chat earlier, right? And I was like, there's a chance that we could run early on Coinbase. It does make that run. So I think it was Hindu there in the chat that had sent us $5 or whatever and asked about that Coinbase trade there at 193 long. I hope you're able to get something out there. We did have an early push. You are now baselining here on Coinbase, which is kind of funny because if you look at what IBIT's doing, that's actually mooning now. So we wrote down IBIT today as our second trade long. First trade long was NVIDIA. Second trade long was IBIT. Then we had silver and then the futures. So all of that's working out. Let's just go check out what silver's doing. And it's unfortunate that I'm always waiting for dip buys. You know, that's the one thing that I have to try to put the feather in the cap, and that is that I like NVIDIA long, so therefore it's just a long. You know, sometimes you don't need to worry about price, but I feel like that's one of the most important things on trading is making sure you're in at the right price, because if you're not, you're going to stop out probably prematurely. But if it's all planned out, then you might have something about that. So if I like silver long, I wrote down in and around 75. Well, we had broken back down through that. So maybe silver's now worth a little bit of a look, as it seems like we're basing out right down here now. With uranium downside, maybe the metals just aren't getting the love today. And we know that it's a specific story with uranium, but gold right here, 467. I got to see what spot gold's at now, because this is still going high side. Spot gold, interested in holding that 5K level. But I haven't actually looked at gold properly in a minute. Well, I'm always looking at GDX or GLD because that's actually what I own right there. What's the best one? Capital.com. Right here to see. Yeah, so still, okay, so it still is holding 5,000. So 5,100 basically here for GLD. And if we go over to a day chart, it's going to look, sorry, for gold, it's going to look the same as GLD, of course. Holding right now, that's your 50-period moving average. So I think we like gold right now, trying to get stabilized a little bit. Surprising that with all this controversy in the world that we're not sort of getting a little higher in some of these metal names. And, you know, a gentleman that we were with the other night really liked silver still. But he had a little bit of arthritis in his shoulder there. So he was talking to us about being long at 30.
Yeah,
there on SLV, and still likes the long there as well. What's up, Adair?
What's up is this stock NRXX, NRXS, trying to figure out which this trades on. This is an Amex name. Really, really low volume here, like 71,000 shares traded on the day. I'm just letting you guys know it did spike a bit here. According to a Substack post from NBC Investing, they, quote, significantly increased their position in NRXX, which is called NeuroAccess. They're citing increased conviction after a meeting with the CEO and doing deeper research into the company. NRXX, again, very light volume, be careful. But in case this does increase in volume, as you can see, it's certainly spiking higher. That's the story on NRXS. Back to you.
Okay. All right. Did we just get a story of ASTS Space Mobile there? I'm hearing something in my ear. It's down here, but pulling back to 2.6% right now. So again, another name here, Space Mobile. We talked about RKLB and the whatnots there as well. Some of these picks are Ramin's picks of the year right here, RKLB that way as well. The name that I said this already, man. I mean, it's been a couple times here. I really do like, take a look at that. AVAV. I was going to say, I really like AVAV down into 210. Maybe I step into this name, man. Most of my money right now is tied up on the U.S. side. I have some Canadian dollars, and of course, can't get that with for AVAV, but a nice move over. I can just, transfer the money over and get that. That's why I was thinking about a Wealthsimple kind of stuff, because my bank still completely screws you over on FX currency changes. You pay like the 2% one way, and then to get the money back into Canadian so I can spend it, I'd have to turn it over again. So it's like right there. If you lose 2 one way, 2 the other, that's 4%. Which, I mean, look, if you're buying $10,000 worth, that would still be $400. So it's still a decent amount of money, right? I mean, especially, and I was just saying 10 grand. If you buy 20 grand, it's $800, and the currency, then you're playing the currency game. So, but anyways, I like Aero Environment at some of these levels. A couple look there at some small caps, some different names, other than what we're trading right there. I don't know who's going to be the next president. I don't know if it's going to be Gavin Newsom, as people saying there in the chat. There's still a little ways to go before we talk about politics like that. But always interesting there, especially as they attach to the market, right?
Yeah, we have a few more years of market volatility. Let's just say that.
I don't think it matters. It does matter who's president for sure. Yeah. I don't know if all this action would have happened if we had Kamala Harris in. I don't know if she would have gone into Iran. I mean, I don't know, but definitely creating trading opportunities. How good has USO been? How good has silver been?
Right.
Some of these trades that have happened, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, some of these names that have really rallied with the current presidency as well. But interesting to talk about politics. We don't talk about politics as an opinion on it, just on how it's affecting the market, right? Yeah. So I think that's always the safest thing to talk about because there's so much disconnect, especially just amongst trade ideas with who's president, who's not, and solar names possibly as well could get going based on healthcare names. Obviously, an aisle decider as well there as we talk about the opinion of Congress. All right, what's going on over there, Adair?
What's going on here, guys? ServiceNow CEO Bill McDermott buying some of the company's stock and announcing this purchase on CNBC. Now, we know the SaaS-mageddon, as it's been referred to, has hit a lot of these software stocks pretty hard. I can see on my TV. He's actually still apparently speaking on CNBC. So if you're trading ServiceNow, be aware the stock is pushing a bit higher as CEO Bill McDermott appears on CNBC to announce he's purchased the company's stocks. If I get any more details on size of this purchase or timing, I will keep you posted.
Adair, market coming in with a little bit of a bounce here. I'm watching this Adobe, not really getting anywhere. I guess it got down into this 250, 251 that I was looking for. But I was like, okay, well, do we actually crack right away? But that pre-market resistance, I guess, is turning into a little bit of support, which it was off of the open as well. So I guess that's going to be a bit of information for me. Definitely looking to probably be like, all right, cool, I'm done with this soon enough. Because this could just be a sideways chop here. Market strength, market bounce definitely bring some confluence into that as well. But Sentinel-1, That's this one right here, hitting its day highs right now. So they had earnings as well, earnings reaction high at 1430s. And that's been pretty solid as well. Off of VWAP, doing a decent amount of relative volume. I guess how much volume has it done? 4.24 million shares traded, so not too shabby on this one here. 1384 is where that VWAP is, and last time we were there, kind of a decent bounce off of that one as well on Sentinel One. Let's take a quick look at how Alta is doing. I know I was looking for a potential continuation to the downside. Oh boy. So VWAP holds. So I guess sellers have definitely been involved in this one here. We were talking about a much higher time frame break of trend potentially, and that trend seems like it's holding as a bit of resistance now on Alta Beauty as it trades a little bit lower. Let's see how much from the highs to the lows, roughly about 3% down on that move there. So interesting stuff. Kind of missed that trade there as well. Again, getting involved at VWAP seems like it was the place to be on Alta, as that is quite a beautiful move so far.
Ooh,
right now,
good pun.
Oracle I've been watching as well. Oracle day 3, maybe? Yeah, okay, day 3. Yeah, Oracle day 3 on earnings. You can see, boom, a lot of these levels coming into play from day 1. Didn't really mark anything off on day 2 just yet, but yeah, decent stuff here, holding in this range that I had marked out. 160 halves to 157 80s is the range of the day. Tries to push higher. That's where it finds some resistance as it's been stepping down. So it kind of makes sense. Pulls back in, and wow, look at that. Slamming right back into some of those lows as I'm talking about it. So pretty nasty stuff here. Wow, yeah, Oracle, look at that. It's about to break that low a day if those sellers continue to persist, and that was a hard slam down into some of those lows here. Let's see if we can crack this low. This was, so again, similar concept to that of Adobe today, where I'm like, okay, the first little pullback. We'll go to a 1 minute to kind of see this one a little bit better here on Oracle. Pull back some more. Right there. So strong push off of the earnings reaction. This is where sellers step in for the first time, and how far could they really take it? You can see here, that was the first time that buyer stepped right back in and held that level. So I do like that as a potential level of interest, and it seems like it's working out for now. That's coming in at 157.50s. Let's see if buyers continue to hold that level, but you can see how much of the range we've already explored, or that price has already explored here on Oracle, and we're kind of trending back down. There comes the break down here as well on Oracle. So another miss, but it's all good. Where's the next trade is what I'm asking. Can't really be catching everything here, but you guys let me know. What are you guys watching? What are you guys trading here as well? Mara saying Dutch Dreamer. Nice. Let's take a quick look at Mara. Okay, wow, look at this. That's definitely up to the high side there. So we know that crypto's been running a little bit here. So 910s, it's 913s all the way to the highs there for about an 8.25% move. So beautiful stuff here, and relative volume as well. Again, not really acting like the rest of its friends here when it comes to crypto related stock. I was watching
friends in crypto.
MSTR. Yeah, there's no friends in crypto. Yeah, I guess, yeah, MSTR finally, I guess it got to its high. So looking kind of the same, but you can see how much cleaner that Mara is. So thank you. Shout out for calling that one out there. And the other one was Coinbase. Let's see what Coinbase is up to. See, Coinbase distinctly different, as it had that spike to 207s, and then now just trading below VWAP, holding. Can't really get above VWAP as of right now, but maybe with this strength coming in, that's what we're looking for. Yeah, good look on that Mara, solid push there. This is what I mean. I don't have to be there are trades happening all across the board, right? And you see that all of them had relative volume, so definitely could be considered easily stocks in play. Bitcoin, though, on a little bit of a pullback on the 1 minute chart. So far we've had a bit of a push higher there. What's going on?
No, I mean, I said problem, but NVIDIA just came in. That kind of came in out of nowhere. I was looking at NVIDIA right around here, 183, not 153, as I had mentioned before. So here it comes in decently right now, NVDA. Let's see if we can give this one a little bit of room, but it's coming right into our level. So that just fell through into our lap. A little loud. I was just sitting here with that bid from the open, so I got to make sure that I double check all of these things because I was trying to figure out like what was the next trade. We had some mentions there on Palantir, but I took this 183. So this was a level that I thought, you know, possibly yesterday's kind of closing area here, 183 and change. We had a high move. What's up to MF Dane Generous, man? That guy in the chat nailed that 186, a perfect trade. Yeah, I'm not going to hold this past 183. We'll take another fill down there at 183.10 or so, and then if it breaks long, great. But if it breaks 183, then we're gonna then we're gonna get out. Hey man, sometimes when you're going, you're going. There's a nice move for Nvidia. Give me that. Okay, we get some 38s there. So that was a decent out there on 38. 183.38. We take 13 cents, not huge. We are going to reload that at 10s, like I said, so we can now put that rate back on, take out a little piece there. If we can get back up to the 25 period, I think that would be decent there, and that would be 80s. So we could. Yes, Obi. Let's go. Nice trade, my guy over there. Yeah, so there goes NVIDIA, falls right back into our lap. And I don't know how far this is going to go, but we'll take that 58 out all day as it goes to the high side there. We'll take another. I'm offering 54s right now on NVIDIA. Maybe this runs. There it is. We get that 54. Maybe that runs all the way back. I'm already out of 45% of this trade already because that I'm going to get another piece right now as well at 48 if we can, and there it goes. Just because I want to get out. We follow our trade, man. That came right in. Like I wrote down 153 to 153.50. We get long right in the middle right now. Let's go over to Adair because I hear something about Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing some comments here about Iran. IDF's chief of staff reportedly briefing military leadership in Israel that the war with Iran is expected to go on until at least April. That's as reported by I-24 News. Most recent headline I'm seeing from Trump is that he said the Iranian regime will fall, but maybe not immediately. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of these comments with Trump have been, we might do this or we might do that with regards to Iran, as I kind of outlined. Furthermore, seeing Israeli military chief of staff reportedly instructing reinforcement of troops in the Northern Command. So more geopolitical tensions here, guys. Does not sound like these are going to go down at any time soon, or at least until April, according to reports from these Israeli military. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much there, Adair. Let's see what you guys are looking at here.
Do you mind looking at AIFF? Because apparently there's a second super chat that we missed here, and I apologize, Adam. Oh, I already thumbs upped it. $2, we'll get a look at that right now, but when you take a look at that, there goes NVIDIA. We just got a 65 fill on NVIDIA as well. So we're trying to break out right now as it goes. So nice little move there. Still going on. Let's go, NVIDIA, man. That was honestly, Adobe, that was a good trade there all the way to the upside on that one. I see you're still in Adobe as well. But yeah, what do you think about Firefly there from Adam?
Firefly, I remember that song that went viral, Firefly. Yeah, that one right there. No, I think Firefly, pretty decent move here. Don't know what the news was in the morning there, but I guess a little bit of a spike. Thank you, Adair. VWAP hold there, and nice consolidation. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. They announced research for their EEG brain scan identification of ADHD subtypes.
Ooh. Okay, so a nice little brain scan news. Don't really know too much details about that, but I guess the stock is reacting quite nicely to that news here. Spike up off of the news, kind of a bit of a crumble there, low volume. Here's another thing as well. Like you're definitely having like short-term shorts that are getting involved with this, and this little crumble, low volume, cannot sell off anymore, and then you start to build structure around some of these highs, and then boom, nice little incremental push higher as well. I should probably keep this up. So getting some of this news here as well. What's Carg Island? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's something there.
Selling off on
Trump says he doesn't want to take down, what is it, Carg Island? What is that? Right there. So there's some sort of a news there about that as well. All right, man, we did get some longer on NVIDIA, and I don't know if this is going to work out or not. So I'm going to hit the keys like mad right now because I don't know what some of these talks are about right there. We did get that 183.10, so I'm just going to try to get some out here as we go. It looks like we are going to fall down. I'm hearing like talks about China and this and that now as well, so that's not going to be great for NVIDIA. So I might just empty out of this trade there, take the win on the way up there. But if it does break 183, it looks like it's going to happen right now. We should be out of NVIDIA. So the market making move down. We just did empty the clip a little bit there in the teens just because we're nervous about it. We don't need them all to moon. If we think we can change our mind on something, then have the ability to do that, and don't be stubborn about your trades, right? So we'll wait. Looks like there's market movement. We just broke through VWAP. So let's go back over to Adair, I believe, again.
I'll start by going over some of these comments from President Trump. Yeah, the thing he said about China, Sean, is not massive. He just said, quote, we've had a good relationship, and quote, we're doing well economically with China. We know some of his trade representatives, including, I believe, Jameson Greer, U.S. Trade Representative, and U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. They're going to be meeting up with the He Lifeng, who's the Vice Premier of China, on Sunday and Monday in France to discuss trade with China. Now, with regards to the Kharg Island, because I did look into this, Kharg Island is apparently like one of the oil hubs of Iran. It is an island, as you can guess by the name, and it is based in Iran. So President Trump said that taking Kharg Island is, quote, not high up on the list, and that, quote, Kharg Island is one of many different things. Now, again, this is significant due to the fact that this is apparently the oil hub of Iran. So that is the context with Kharg Island and what makes it stand apart from potentially other targets that would be occurring in Iran. If I find more details, I'll let you know, but that's just from a cursory search of Kharg Island to give you guys more of a sense of why this island will matter. Now, let's talk about the market. Finance. Green across the board here. Consumer non-durables, green. Health tech, I mean, Eli Lilly with that positive news with Kroger distributing one of its pens. That's a good look for Lilly, but the rest of the sector relatively flat. Producer manufacturing has some strength here. LRCX and AMAT doing well, but then you've got pullbacks in names like Deere, GEV, and Caterpillar. Utility strong. Consumer services strong. Process industry strong. Health services, I mean, UMich trying to send this sector to the upside. Commercial services doing well. Communications, energy, minerals, actually kind of mixed today, though oil is, at least as of this morning, was poised to to close the week green. So nice look there for oil. And tech services and electronic tech, once again, very, very mixed. You've got Apple, Broadcom, A&D, all a little red here in electronic technology, though Micron, Amphenol, and Intel all to the upside. Meanwhile, in tech services, Meta, of course, that avocado AI going to be delayed, so they're pulling back. Oracle pulling back on earnings day 3. Palantir CRM weak, and Adobe down on earnings, but then you've got some strength in Google, Netflix, Accenture, ServiceNow. So again, a lot of these sectors are going to be pretty mixed today, guys. Back to you.
600K or something.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy times. Right there. Trump saying that once this war is over, the market will go all the way back up. So I'm going to go long. No, not based on that news, but here's the cue. So I said that we would try it maybe if we got back into this level of 47. So we're going to try it again right there. We did drop out of NVIDIA, so we slap a flush on the stock, not on anything. I mean, we're still happy with the performance of NVIDIA because we were able to sense that and get out. And I'm not going to just rail right back into this thing like I sometimes do. I mean, I'm going to choose right now the Nasdaq just to see as we're falling back in. It looks like it's going to lose 47. About to go red now on the Nasdaq. It did take out VWAP. So this is a very, very slippery slope right now, and we don't want to die on this hill. That is for sure. So if we break lower right now, then it looks like the bears here are roaring a little bit. Get underneath. There you go. Nice outfit. To get underneath VWAP right now, and that's not going to be a trade that you're going to want to hold. When the market breaks, and that's that. So, we can slap out of it, and that's the whole thing about risk, right? I mean, you don't want to layer into something that doesn't have the fortune, underneath you. And I mean, right now we're starting to look a little lower, so that's my stop. And if it hits, it hits, and we're 5 pennies away from that happening. And if it does, that's a 17-cent hit, and we'll be fine with that, right? We did not reload it. I reloaded it 10% of this trade. Right there. 10% of this trade is right back in now. That's it. So if it breaks lower, great. If it goes higher, great as well. But I'm not willing to do anything right now with that. CLJ, this is the crude oil trade. Look, see, so there you go. So now you're getting some connection between the two of those there. And as we talk about that island there in Iran, so more talk about the oil trade, and it doesn't look like it's really moving too aggressively here yet today. Silver, we had sort of looked at that down there near 75. Obviously, we don't take it. There's the break. There's the break on the Nasdaq as well as we just get through 47. And maybe now the pain is in here. Maybe we go downside from now. The market, this is a Friday. We could see a little bit of a bleed down. I'm fine getting stopped. Like, even if this thing rips up, I mean, that was an out for us. And, you know, well taken, man. We lost, like I said, we gave back about 10% or so of our trade there on that last little try. But, hey, man, if everything's worth a try, I feel like. And because if you don't try, then, you know, you don't have anything. So as long as it makes sense, that made sense to me. And now I'm thinking about the short, guys. You guys like the short in the chat? I don't know. You like the short now? I know you are short.
Yeah, I do like the short on the market. I think that's where I should kind of be. Look at that Oracle go. That's my mistake, kind of just fixated on this Adobe here. But Oracle is the one that's really slamming it in here. And again, in play, kind of strong sellers showing up off of the open there on not necessarily right off the open, but on day 1 of earnings, day 2 of earnings, and then today day 3 of earnings. More of the same. And you have market confluence? Come on, Obi, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
160, like yesterday it gave you the same trade. Today it's giving you the continuation. And it's just like, you can be, this is me talking to myself, like I can be so leveraged in something like this that has all of that confluence and in play. Sure, I'm kind of piecing, around on Adobe, kind of, just nothing too crazy here on Adobe, but I could definitely be focused and a lot more leveraged and aggressive on something like this much more easily, have more confidence in that, and it's definitely my fault for not being involved. And again, the market tailwind, absolutely beautiful here with the sellers stepping right back in. So it seems like that area, that 25K, we couldn't get back to that 25K, 24,800s is the high today, and we're pulling right back in. So I guess, what am I looking for here in Adobe? I was looking for this support level to crack. We came back up into VWAP right here. This is still for me in and around that VWAP area. Now I'm just looking to see if this continues to get a little bit heavy here. We already kind of, so far we've made a high on the day. We've made a little bit of a lower high here at 255s. Hasn't really come into fruition just yet. If it cracks a little bit lower, then I'm like, okay, yeah, that is confirmation that for now that 255 is that lower high. But I'll wait and see. At Oracle, yeah, I guess where's the next trade? It's okay. It's all good. Maybe we can catch some Oracle on some bounces here. Maybe a bounce back towards 157.80s. Could be nice. 156s. Like, I was talking about this, and this thing slammed into this level here. Wow, a lot of levels marked out. Don't need all of that right now. But, 156s. 158s was that level there, and then now down into 156s on Oracle. So nice 2-point move, and you can see how clean it is. None of the buyers are kind of winning on any of these bids that step right back up. Not only that, we talk about kind of breaking structure on the way down. This opening range low, boom, 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 a little bit of a bounce, but right here, I like this. We kind of break, we pull back into 58s, and then we pull back down as well. So giving you multiple opportunities in this area. Now, it just depends. Like, ideas are great. Everybody can have great ideas, but how are you executing on those ideas? That will definitely make the difference from trader to trader. And right here, kind of giving you some clean areas where you get that strong continuation here on Oracle almost right away. And again, market being weak never really hurt against that kind of a bias there for that continuation. Let's take a quick look at some of these tech names here. Micron, I know that Micron and SNDK, I got to keep a close eye on these ones. Let's just go to a 30-minute chart, get that VWAP out of the way. We don't need that. Wow, look at that strength on Micron off of the open. Absolutely crazy, but nice little pullback happening as of right now on the Micron. SNDK probably.
Micron, okay. Mykonos. This is a guy from Greece or something over here?
SNDK. We'll see what this one's up to. See, not the same kind of strength on SNDK, kind of muted. And yesterday we kind of observed the bit of a disconnect there between some of those stocks, SNDK and Micron, which were moving in tandem at one point. So is the trade over? That's what I'm asking. I have no idea. I'm just waiting for my SSDs and my RAM to come back down in prices, which I don't think it's happening anytime.
You know what I'm asking? I'm asking for this market to go down as well, right there, because okay, man, we switched up the game, and you got to make sure you do something like that. I mean, you can't just sit there and, watch. I mean, you can sit there and watch the market. I mean, that's a choice. But we did break down there. We're going short now onto the Nasdaq, and we're not holding this for a very long time. Like I'd mentioned there, if we break back above 20s here, we can get out. But we're short there. We did lose on that last long, and once it broke 47, I was just thinking like this market broke VWAP. We're downside. We're starting to go this way. NVIDIA broke as well. So our last couple longs didn't work. And I'm not short because these didn't work. It's the momentum now to the downside. Just want to see if it winds up printing for us a little bit here. We can make a little bit of money back that we lost on those longs. But ideally, this market has more to go. There is a lot more downside that we could experience. The S&P 500 just turned red, as did Nasdaq, and you could see here that's 4680 right there. That could come into play. And then you're talking about the open from a couple days ago that we could get into here. And yesterday the market seemed okay, and the next thing you know, man, the Dow was down 800 points. So maybe this market does bleed down to the downside. How could she slap, Obi? Because right there, the market goes, how could she slap? Because the market's going to the downside right now, and we're making back a little bit more money on this trade. Okay, we like this one. Let's see how low can we go. It seems like we're doing, what do they call, the limbo there.
Oh, yeah.
When you go on that, I mean, I'm trying to go on vacation, we'll get a little low down there.
With the roller skates?
I ain't about that roller skating limbo life, but I'm about skating on fine ice here with the Nasdaq and the TQQs. It's almost about that time for what's for lunch, but we've gone over our limit here. We got to get Adair with money talks. Then we'll figure out what's for lunch. Then we'll go to the gym. We'll come back and we'll have a great afternoon, and we'll pass it over to the midday guys. They're pumped up and ready to go as well. What up, Adair?
You don't know what's up, Sean? The US dollar. DXY breaking a new high of 2026. That's going to be this 101.299 level, currently trading around 101.123. So we pulled back slightly here, but still very much up, not only on the day, but on the week. This is a 4-day winning streak for the US dollar, actually poised for our second straight green week. And we're trying to take off these highs from November of 2025. Let's see if the US dollar can pull it off, but all in all, nice trajectory higher for that DXY. Now, tons of economic data to go over, so I have not one but two handy little Trader TV research infographics for you guys to look at here. So we had PCE, core and non-core, all of these numbers with the exception of PCE year over year for January, which came in a little bit lower. Everything else was exactly in line with estimates. Now, GDP is actually what was very interesting. GDP, second estimate here for Q4 2025, 0.7%, below the estimate of 1.4%. So weaker than expected GDP, that's becoming unfortunately a trend, but generally the rest of this data more or less in line with estimates. I mean, personal spending slightly higher, personal income slightly lower than what we were expecting, and durable goods orders month over month, 0, below estimates of 1.1. Now, we have to talk about the CME FedWatch tool. Oh, actually, sorry, we didn't even talk about the other data that we got, so I'll just quickly go over this as well. 10 a.m. JOLTS job openings. These are going to come in higher than expected. You've got University of Michigan consumer sentiment, higher than expected, 1-year inflation and 5-year inflation estimates lower than expected, which basically means consumers looks like they're a little bit less worried about inflation and maybe more enthusiastic than we were expecting them to be. Almost 100% chance that we're not going to get any kind of rate change going forward on March 18th. That'll be next Wednesday. We're going to get 93% chance of no change in April. June, 73% chance of no cut. July, 60% chance no cut. September, 50% chance no cut. October, now not even in October do we see a chance of a cut. In December, that's the only time we might be getting a cut this year. Now that's significant because President Trump yesterday called for the Fed Chair Jerome Powell to cut rates immediately that day. Now, of course, not a thing that can happen, but it's interesting. He says that as the market's pricing in of rate cuts continues to dwindle, again, very unlikely we get a cut this year. If we do, not going to be till the last month of the year. Back to you.
Thank you very much.
Super chat. Look at the Nasdaq just all over itself. All right. What's up, Robert Lewis? Do I think Palantir? Let's go market, man. Let's go to the downside right now. This is a good short trade here. I'm glad we reversed it in. Anyways, our position board is gone. Oh no. Oh, hold on, let me get out of this. Okay, let's read this together. Palantir found a bottom. Can't believe it's not a call with all the news yesterday and the war going on.
I mean, you caught the bottom yesterday.
Why, thank you. Yeah, so yesterday, Palantir, we were long right around here, man. And yeah, okay, here we go. The market's absolutely crushed right now to the downside. After, I mean, it's not, it's only down 0.15, but we did have a nice move in the basically the last 30 minutes. There's like 5 up candles. So we take advantage of that play and just take a 66 there and have the ability to reverse it, right? Like we were long and there's the reversal short into the market. We're doing it live, and there's nobody better right here than the guy beside me, Obi. Okay, so PLTR right here. There's a lot of love on this show. I don't know if you realize that. Palantir, the beta is just so strong on this one. Like as the market falls, Palantir just crushes itself. So yeah, man, I mean, I agree with you. I think this is a wartime kind of stock, but you're getting to the downside right now. Let's go futures. This is crazy. There goes Palantir. Where could we buy it? Maybe. How about right here if you like a spot? But I honestly, that's a pretty dramatic fall. Like I would have wrote this down if I thought it was coming down here today. I did not. So when things kind of are by surprise, man, we got to sort of take a step to the north side or to the south side and step away from the stock. But this is a great spot here. Like I feel like I'm gonna come back today at 2 o'clock and be like, damn, we should have bought some Palantir. But it's right here at 149.30. So I'm gonna hold off on that. There's obviously some rhetoric happening right now in the market. So I'm gonna put another bid out right here. This is another 50 cents on the TQs, man. We talked about giving back 10%. We put that 10% plus more right back into the account on this short there for the Nasdaq. Broke through 47. Those are the levels that we liked here on the TQQs, on the sticky notes. So when it breaks, we're trying to go the other way. We do it right there, and here it goes. Nice move. Let's figure out what's for lunch. Okay, I can't believe I'm looking up Mercedes-Benz here too now as well. I don't know, man. I'm a little disappointed that is getting extended into end of 27 now with the Rivian. I can hold out for it, but okay, what day is it today? Oh yeah, it's Friday the 13th. Oh no. Glad that we're making money on the short. It kind of does. Oh God, President Trump just said he thinks Putin is helping Iran. Okay, hold those shorts. All right, today we have a Chinese flag. Trump might not like this. Wait a minute, don't tell Trump we do not have, we had a Jamaican, a Spanish, a Brazilian, an Italian, and then today a Chinese flag. Please do not tell President Trump that. There's no US flag on here, nor is there a Canadian flag. Last week we had Canada. It was salmon last week for Canada, which is pretty good. Probably farmed from China though. Okay, spicy beef. Ooh. Spicy beef with mushroom today.
Okay.
That should be good.
Yeah.
I feel like. Cucumber. Oh, this is the thing that Neil didn't like last time. The cucumber strip salad. So that's in there today as well. As well as what? Chinese flag. Today's salad, Caesar salad. So that's interesting. Spicy beef with cucumber strips and leeks, Caesar salad, and those good Dan noodles. So that's what's for lunch. That's the wrong thing.
Is that
the wrong thing? That's the right thing.
Really skinny, almost like the translucent looking.
I hope so. I think those are more known as glass noodles.
Okay,
like
yeah,
they put them on here when they say that. But I can look up Dan noodles. We can get that all figured out. It's 10:59. Thanks everybody for joining us there today. I'm out of exactly. Just now got hit out of now just over half of this trade, as I wasn't sure if it was going to bleed all the way to the downside. My stop is going to be trailed out at this 25 period, or maybe we can even use the 50 period moving average. But here we go. I'm going to take one more piece out, and then we're going to get out of here. You know, I don't want to leave on like a really good position. You know, decent share size if I'm not at my desk, obviously. Sure, so always. It's going lower. Always get out of your trade or have a pretty aggressive stop.
Yes,
this market can turn on a dime. You know, it's very, very news-based. I want to thank everybody for such a great week. If those of you aren't joining Adobe, I said it again, man. It's a stock that you're. Okay. If you haven't joined Obi and I all week, man, it's been a blast. So thanks, Obi. For sure. And make sure you guys do join us both back again for one last bit of trading for the two of us at 2 o'clock, 2 to 4 p.m. Obi and I will be right back on the desk. You're in for a treat though right now because it's Sharif it's Joe, it's the midday talk. The market just broke the lows of the day right now as we're getting lower here. I think this might be worth a hold, man. Right now on the Nasdaq. So bye. Ciao bella. We'll see you later on. It's the midday show. Thanks Adair for everything today. Thanks Brendan. Thanks Todd for coming through earlier as well. Go get those mushrooms and put them in your pasta tonight. See everybody at 2 p.m. Thanks for watching. Hope you had some good trades. Ciao.
Yeah.